of the Newark Landmarks and Historical Preservation Commission, which is being held in accordance with the Open Public Hearings Act of 1973, also known as the Sunshine Law, in accordance with the New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, Section 5. Adequate notice of this hearing has been provided by notifying the Newark Star Ledger and the Jersey Journal. Also, the schedule of regular meetings of the Newark Landmarks and Historical Preservation Commission has been posted on a bulletin board in the basement of the City Hall and filed in the office of the City Clerk. In addition to adequate notice under the Open Public Meetings Act, electronic notice of this remote public meeting, as is permitted under the NJSA 10493, was placed on the City of Newark's website. Members of the public can make public comments by audio or by audio and video as permitted by Zoom electronic communications platform. Now, while in this Zoom meeting, press on raise hand on the bottom left corner of the computer screen or a mobile device. Raise hand allows participants to notify the host that they would like to speak without interrupting them. If you're calling in, press *9 on your telephone to raise your hand. Tonight's meeting will be limited to the business items listed on the agenda. Requests to the scheduled items for future meetings should be submitted to the Commission in care of the Division of City Planning, Newark City Hall, 920 Broad Street, room 112, Newark, New Jersey, 07102. Madam Secretary, can you do a roll call for us, please?
Yes, sure. Commissioner Combs-Hollis.
I'm here.
Commissioner Gross-Claus. Didn't see him. Commissioner John Paul. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
It's correct. Thank you. I'm here.
Commissioner Smith. I don't
Here.
see.
Present.
No, Commissioner Rogers Smith. I have to put Rogers. Okay.
R. Smith.
Commissioner Caldwell Epps. Her name is there, but I'm not seeing her. Her mic is off. Commissioner O'Toole.
Here.
Commissioner Zhang.
Here.
Commissioner Nance.
Here.
Chair Anthony Smith.
Here.
You forgot me, Kevin. Commissioner Miller's here.
I can barely see. Okay. Commissioner Miller, I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, so can we get approval of the minutes from our November meeting? October 1st, 2025.
Someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes of October 7th?
I so move.
Commissioner O'Toole, do we have a second?
Commissioner O'Toole.
Do we have a second?
I apologize. I didn't get a chance to review them.
Anthony, do you want to make a motion to approve the minutes or Nicole?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 1st, 2025.
Motion made by Commissioner O'Toole, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Zhang?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller? Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Combs-Hollis?
I didn't review the minutes.
Okay. Commissioner O'Toole?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Motion carried to approve the October minutes.
Is there any reports on enforcement actions in the historical district?
No, Chair.
Any communications?
No, Chair.
Okay, can we start with the new business at hand? The first applicant up is 2634 Rector Street, H25-171, New Jersey Performing Arts. They're here because they are due to environmental conditions discovered within the building, the applicant is seeking to amend the approval granted in the matter of HPC 22 077 on April 13, 2022 to demolish the greater portion of the building. With this application, the applicant proposes to maintain the three-story portion of the building and demolish the remainder. The applicant also intends on to create a public space on the property to commemorate the 1967 Conference on Black Power. Are the representatives here for this particular
Yes,
application?
I just brought in Ms. Baxter.
Hi, good evening, Commissioners.
Lisa, is anyone else with you so they can raise their hands? I can bring
Yes,
them in?
if you could let in Tim Lazora,
Okay.
John Schreiber, and Junius Williams is with him. So Tim Lazora and John Schreiber.
Okay. I think they should all be in.
Great. Okay, if they're in then, if you'd like me to start, my name's Lisa John Bossum with the law firm Chiesa, Shahinian, and Jan Tomasi on behalf of the applicant, New Jersey Performing Arts Corporation. NJPAC is appearing before the commission this evening in connection with 24 Rector Street building, also known as the Cathedral House. Some of the commissioners may be aware that back in 2022, NJPAC did appear before the commission and received approval to demolish a portion of the 24 Rector Street building. This was in connection with a larger development project that it was constructing, is currently under construction, known as the Performing Arts Center Arts and Education Development, which surrounds the NJPAC building. Why we're here this evening.
Lisa and Commissioners, sorry, I don't think John Schreiber's email has been in, and Junius is not in the same room. So could you find to see if they're there?
Secretary, can you pull John Schreiber and also Junius Williams in, please?
They're together in the same room.
Okay.
Okay. Want me to continue or pause for a moment? She'll find them, Tim. So why NJPAC is before the commission this evening is that unfortunately during its ongoing construction, unexpected conditions related to 24 Rector Street have arisen in the last several weeks, actually, mainly related to asbestos remediation that was just discovered. So NJPAC is before the commission this evening looking to demolish a greater portion of the building than originally approved. Tonight, we're before you seeking the demolition approval. We're also going to be presenting a concept plan for a proposed park in the footprint of the former building adjacent to the portion of the building that is going to remain. The park is intended to honor and commemorate the Black Power conference that occurred within the building. We have tonight with us Junius Williams, who's a Newark historian who has formed a committee that is going to formulate a design to best and appropriately memorialize the activities that occurred within the building and the conference itself, which we believe will be back before the commission with a full design package for that in the spring of 2026. We have two individuals that we do intend to discuss the proposal this evening, Tim Lazora with NJPAC, as well as Junius Williams, which will talk about the proposed design for the future development. If it's okay
This is
with
Commissioner Miller. This is Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
I just want to bring to the attention to the commission. The application that you're seeking to demolish this particular building, the correct procedure is that the commissioners are invited to see exactly the site. We have not gotten an invitation with regard to coming to the site and looking at the situation on hand. So I'm gonna remind the commission that this is something that is part of the procedure when there's an application for demolition of a building, especially this building that was already discussed, and it was already talked about with NJPAC with regard to building is not to be demolished. So now we have to go back and look at it to see if the actions that are deemed undeemable by this commission to be able to demolish the building.
So Commissioner Miller, just a question for you. that is the procedure, but if they have an environmental report, because we can go to the building, but if they have an environmental report that states that their findings are that there's issues there that may warrant it to be demolished, what do you say the procedures are?
This is,
Well, this
Yeah.
is Commissioner Miller. I just want to say this. Every building that we've been to that had to be demolished had hazardous condition such as this one. I can go down the line, all the buildings that we have gone in review. Asbestos is something that is very prevalent on older building. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we have procedures in place where we're supposed to look at the building before we even go ahead and listen to the application.
This is also Commissioner Zhang. It's also the precedence of this commission to consider the new construction application alongside the demolition application based on a cursory review of the applicant's presentation. The proposed project has been presented as a schematic plan, but not as a detailed plan. I'd also like to add that the existence of asbestos is a common condition across all historic districts, and that by my estimate, more than half of buildings in many historic districts have some asbestos or existing contamination. And there's a long kind of track record for the appropriate remediation, particularly of non-industrial sites like this one that have been used as a school and it was until recently occupied.
So we have actually also our city planner on, Pallavi. Pallavi, would you please lean in on this?
Well, I would just say that let's just go through the hearing. Let's just see what the applicant has to present. I'm not going to intervene in the procedures and process, but we'll follow that. Let them just present, if that's okay with everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to kind of get involved in the hearing, actually. I was just here to kind of provide some assistance if needed, but not to actually directly chime in on anything, if that's okay.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Appreciate
All
you.
right. Thank you so much.
This is Commissioner Miller. I don't believe that we should listen to this application without going to the proper course. And also, the person that wrote the report, we should be able to contact the individual and have. There's several questions that I had with regard to the report when I read it. It is my opinion that just like the procedure has been all these years, that it has to be looked at, and then we look at the evidence that they're submitting before that, and they bring a professional to the board so they can tell us why it should be knocked down as they all do when they come before us. I believe that the application should be adjourned until those items are taken care of.
So, Ms. Basta, do you have is the engineer, the person who did the environmental report, are they here?
Yes,
Yeah, I would
he's,
say he should be let in. I don't think he's let in.
And
he's
Kim,
available.
this is Pallavi Shinde. Can I ask one more question? I think I spoke with the applicant when they were putting in the application. Were you able to submit a report also
Yes.
that
yes,
lays out the condition and what exactly it is, what percentage of it? Do you
Yeah.
have things like this?
we
I just
do.
want to make sure that we have that information. Again, that's procedure.
Mhm.
Okay,
We
thank you.
do, and we have the consultant who should be let into the
Okay,
call
all right.
if you want to speak directly to him. His name is Mark Costantino. Stella.
Let me
Is
see.
here, Mark?
1 second, let me see. I don't see that person.
Madam Secretary, I believe they're in the wait room under Mark Costantino.
Yep.
That's
him.
correct.
It's not coming up on my end here.
If you want to make me a co-host, I can help you with that.
I don't know why it's not showing up. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Okay, Miss Epsom. Miss Hollis. Because I'm not seeing that person. I don't know why, but I just made you the
Yeah.
co-host.
Okay, all right, let me see if I can do that.
Okay, let me see now. Okay, I'm now seeing him. He has his hand raised. Okay.
And Mr. Chair, if it's the commissioner's pleasure,
Yes, Mrs. Zara?
I think it's
Okay.
frozen.
He's frozen.
He's frozen.
He's in now. Okay,
Hey,
there
good
we go.
evening. Can you see me?
Tim,
I
you were
was-
frozen for a
I'm sorry,
moment.
I was saying, if it's the commissioner's pleasure that they would prefer a tour of the building, we would happy to be obliged and adjourn to next month.
Mr. Chairman, may I chime in on that? I have I'm not an expert in environmental issues, and I do have a engineer's report that I'm gonna actually rely on that engineer to put that testimony on the record. If what this report says that there are some environmental concerns, I'm not sure that I want to tour such a building. But I'm only one vote, Mr. Chairman. And so I'd like to hear from that engineer who prepared that report.
Okay,
Sure.
so the chairman is obviously up to you and the commission, but I think you're hearing from us. We will proceed in either fashion that you would like. We can adjourn and have a tour and come back, or we could
Well, I
present our
think that- I
application
think
and
that
see if
because-
everybody's comfortable voting this evening.
Well, I think that because you're here, I think that he should present. And if the commission still wants to have a tour, we can have the tour, but while everyone is here together, let's go through the presentation. And even if it's adjourned to the tour, then we can come back to this in January.
Okay, sounds great.
This is Commissioner Miller. And anyway, once again, I'm gonna bring out the procedures that we usually go through, and the community as well is also involved in the situation, and none of the documents that was presented to the commission or attached stated that they also reached out to the community and had conversation with the community with regard to this building that means so much to the community. So I'm going to ask again to the commission. I think it's very important for us to follow the protocol because it sets a precedence on how we deal with demolition on historical buildings.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to be confrontational. I don't know if there is such a procedure and policy. I'm not, as a commission, I'm not aware of that. So, Mr. Chairman, if you can have the Secretary, Ms. Taylor, circulate that to the commission, I think that would be helpful for us, especially too for the newer members. I've been a part of design review, but I was not aware that there was such a procedure in place that we had to tour a building prior to hearing. And this is my first time hearing that. And so if, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, have that procedure circulated for the benefit of the commission.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I don't believe that there's a specific procedure that requires commissioners to have a site visit before approving or denying a demolition application. But I do believe that there is a precedent that for buildings of unique historical significance, that those typically, to my memory, aren't approved before there is a site visit. And this building is historically significant on multiple levels. And there have been, and it's been until very recently occupied as a school. And so if there is a site visit, I feel very comfortable visiting the space because those conditions identified in the engineer's report were only presented during this demolition application and not during previous demolition applications.
So this is Commissioner Smith. The only reason it was presented during this application is because they were adhering to the 2022 application that we said they were going to keep the building. When they were adhering to that and moving forward to proceed, that's when they discovered this. So in going to have a tour of that building, I'm not sure how we're going to identify what's asbestos and not asbestos, because we really are relying on the report of the expert. So I just need to help me to
This
understand.
is Commissioner Miller. Asbestos is something that's very common in older building. I am familiar with different products and elements that are with asbestos. And to me, I think that's something that we need to see. I know what it is, and I know what a report. When you do a report, I know how to read it, and I know what the instructions are. So
Commissioner
I
Miller, what
think
you're
it's very
saying to me is
important for
that,
that.
respectfully, what you're saying is that you would like to go to the building, and I mean, they're willing to do this, but you're able to identify, based upon the report, what's asbestos?
I am saying to you is I'm not going there as an inspector. I'm going there as a commissioner to view the building and to kind of see what the report says and how that matches to what's in the building. That's what I'm saying, Commissioner Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I think you heard from the applicant's attorney that they're willing to come back at the next meeting. But let me just say this, let me go on the record, Mr. Chairman, because I don't want us to spend time. I know we have a full calendar tonight with the back and forth with what the precedent was and what the procedure is. If we should just make a decision as to how we're going to proceed. I can tell you that I am a single vote, right? I'm not prepared to enter a building without any kind of protective gear to view asbestos. I'm just not prepared to do that. And so if you're saying that we have to tour a building that I have a report from a professional that says that there is asbestos present in a building, and you're going to force me, Mr. Chairman, to tour such a building, I am not sure that I can do that. And so I will just rely on the rest of the commission to come back and report that they are visually seeing that. And I don't know from the naked eye if what we intend to see. But I will rely on the report and the rest of the commission to speak to that.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I'm willing to hear the engineer's report, and I'll just say for the record that the reason I'm skeptical about the report is that the building was until very recently occupied as a school, and it's gone through several cycles of renovation. And so I'll be curious to hear from the engineer why these conditions were not discovered up until a few weeks ago, given the extensive changes and reviews of this project by State Historic Sites Council in the 1990s and by this commission in 2022. So I question the timeliness of the asbestos report.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we intend to present this evening as to why we're here. That will sum it up, our presentation, actually.
So Ms. Basta, I think that I would prefer for you to present.
Yes.
Because I think it's incumbent upon the commissioners who are willing to go into a building that can identify the asbestos. But I think that if you give a full presentation, then we can make a decision to move forward after then of how we're going to go about this.
That makes sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, okay, and I think we will answer a lot of the questions that are being asked in this dialogue back and forth as part of our presentation. So, to start then, we have Tim Lazora. And Tim, we do have a slide presentation. If you can put it up on the screen, please.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, good evening, commissioners, and thank you for your time and consideration today. On the screen is a photo of 24 Rector Street in its current existing conditions. The building was built in 1941, which is just outside the period of significance for the Military Park Historic District, which ended in 1940, started in 1870. The exterior of the building was originally red brick until it was renovated in the 1999 timeframe when it was painted to the color and the graphics that you see here. Originally, the building was used for office spaces of the Episcopal Diocese. Most recently, as noted, NJPAC's, we use this space for our arts education programs. Of course, most notably, the aspect of this building was it played a role as one of the venues for the first national conference on Black Power.
Frozen again.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
you froze at the Black Power conference.
Okay, so that was, of course, the most notable piece of the building's history in 1967. Go to the next slide. The commissioners can see what's previously approved. The area in red is what we were currently working on. The area that was in white was the remnant of the building. Today, the building is approximately 35,000 square feet. In 2022, NJPAC received approval from this commission to demolish the area in red, which is about 23,000 square feet. The desire at the time was to save as much of the building as possible while facilitating NJPAC's operations, which we were able to provide and do with this portion of the building. What was to answer the question of timing, this building in the red, we began its demolition as according to plan in August when the current occupants moved out of the building. And at the beginning of the demolition, we discovered that the building had a significant asbestos issue that we were unaware of. Specifically, the backside of all of this brick around the building was sealed with an adhesive material that contained asbestos. We were unaware of this. We have submitted the letter from Whitman Engineering Environmental in November is the November letter, and our engineer is available here to answer any questions along the way. To effectively remediate this portion of the building using appropriate standards, it would cost more than $5 million to do an efficient.
On again, Tim.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You're back.
Back. Oh boy.
It stopped at it would cost $5 million to do an efficient remediation.
Remediation. This is more than double the costs we had identified. And as importantly, the time to remediate would jeopardize the balance of the project, which is under construction, as all of this construction is interrelated in the Artside development. Of course, to remediate the remaining portion, we would have to gut the entire building and in order to get to the mastic, which would remain behind the building, to successfully reoccupy the building. Obviously, NJPAC as a not-for-profit with our mission to give back to the community, we believe it to be irresponsible to spend that kind of resources on what would effectively be two rooms that are usable, totaling about 5,000 square feet. And this is given that all of the uses that were in this building are going to be moved into the Cooperman Center, which is currently under construction. As many of you probably are aware of, we're building a 58,000 square foot community center on Mulberry and Center Street, which will house all of these facilities. Can we take a second and ask John Schreiber perhaps to speak to the Cooperman Center? Would the chairman mind?
John, if you
Okay,
could.
sure. Yeah, thank you, Tim. Thank you, commissioners. We are very, very excited at the prospect of the reality of that we are building in a parking lot catacorner to NJPAC. As Tim said, it's a 58,000 square foot building. The cost to us to construct this building is $70 million. We've raised that money through a public-private partnership. What's most exciting to me about this building is we are taking everything that the Art Center is now doing in arts education and moving it to Center Street. So
we're
taking it from, I'm sorry?
John, just to clarify, so you said the Arts Center. So the Arts Center is what was occurring within 24 Rector Street.
Arts
correct, and moving
education,
it-
I'm sorry.
Arts education that is being moved now to the new Cooperman building.
Exactly, but
Okay.
to me, the best part of this is in addition to doing the traditional arts training programs that we have done at 24 Rector, we are going to be able to do so much more for community. That will include 12 smart classrooms. It will include a children's arts reading room for the youngest readers. It will include a 180-seat black box theater that has a technical theater grid so we can teach our young people about careers stage careers that are available to our young people. Additional to that, there are two rehearsal studios on the third floor of the facility. We will be giving space grants to Newark artists to create new work there. And it's also be a revenue source for us, as we'll be able to rent it to touring theatrical companies that will rehearse prior to going on the road. During the day, it'll be open 5 days a week. Most everything that happens in this new facility will be free to the community. And during the day, we'll be offering programs that older adults, as well as caregivers and mothers with young children, be able to participate in. So the entire community. It will offer education opportunities for our young people, as well as for our adult population in the city. So this building will be open 5 days a week. It'll be open 8 to 10 hours a day. It will open for activities in the second quarter of 2027. And over the course of 2026, we're going to be in community talking to cultural organizations, social service organizations, all sorts of individuals who operate programs that could locate at the Cooperman Center at no charge to them. It's a way for us to advance all sorts of education opportunities and shine a light on many, many organizations that are doing great work in our city. Sensible social impact work is the purpose of our building this new building, and it'll be state of the art, and it will be generational, I think, in its impact. So that's the short version of the Koopman Center.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you, John. And with that, even though the building is outside of the period of significance, what is most important to us, and the most historic thing in the building, and that we remain cognizant of it, is the role it played in the Black Power Conference. Rather than just leaving a building for reuse. So on the left, this is the slide provided for the proposed demolition. On the left, you can see conceptual open space, and to the right, the facade of the building that we propose to remain and preserve. As to the park, Junius Williams will be discussing some of his ideas momentarily. We're interviewing now world-class architects, landscape architects, that help us design that park to be commensurate with the balance of our campus. I also have a photo of the portion of the building that we plan on retaining. You can see from this photo, this portion of the building is really the most iconic portion. It preserves the central tower of the building. The sections of the buildings also keeps the two-story windows, the iconic main entrance, the parapet, and this section of the building really it's Gothic style design. Additionally, not necessarily part of the historic piece, we will be, of course, retaining the Polish share super graphics that are on the front of the building. We expect that we will be placing a plaque on the building in addition to the story and the work that Junius and his team will do on the park, describing all of the members who participated in the conference.
Tim, yeah, I think we should just take a pause here before we have Junius speak to how he intends to, or the committee that he formed in different programming models for this park area. If we can have Mark Constantine, who prepared the environmental report, speak to the asbestos?
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to discuss the hazardous materials side of this project. So we were originally contracted through NJPAC in 2022 to conduct an asbestos and lead survey of the building. At that time, the building was occupied, so that we had limited access, but we came back last year to do additional sampling and the building was still occupied. So what we did in our report was include that during the renovation activities within the interior of the building, as the demolition contractor was probing if suspect materials not listed in the report were discovered, we would sample it that day so that we could stay on top of the schedule. During that time, the black wall mastic surrounding the building was discovered and we sampled it. It was behind a false wall of plaster and metal mesh, so we didn't have access to that until they started that renovation process. So that is why we were unable to find it during the initial survey. We tried to, excuse me. We tried to remove it in a non-friable manner by using a mastic remover, and we were unable to successfully remove it to be within compliance to consider it non-asbestos due to the porous nature of the brick. So then we presented NJPAC with options to abate it, including a full containment setup, which would be a subchapter 8 project, and or if the building was going to be demolished and not reoccupied, we could still remove the mastic in a less friable manner under a limited containment while still maintaining no fiber release outside the work area.
So Mark, just to ask you a few questions that came up. So prior to August, there were inspections that was performed by your company related to the building. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And there was an amount, and I believe it was in the $2 million figure for NJPAC that it actually did budget in order for this building to be saved as was approved in 2022. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. And then based on, I think what I heard and based on your report is after the building was now no longer occupied, additional testing was done. And what was discovered, I think you call it mastic, I think it layman's terms, it's a sealant that's used that contained asbestos that was not expected to be within the building.
Right. Yes. It was not expected. It was not accessible until we did that probing. So yes, the mastic is an adhesive used as a vapor barrier.
Okay. And with that type of asbestos or adhesive, now that it's discovered, in order to demolish the building as was approved in 2022, and to reoccupy it, that would take a tremendous amount of remediation work, costs, and time in order to do that. Is that an accurate statement?
Correct.
And is there any health risks that are posed to the occupants of the building?
Post asbestos removal projects, there isn't. We do clearance testing, but if you're going to reoccupy the building, kind of like I stated before, is that you have to take additional steps in place, which it takes a lot of time, and the method of removal can jeopardize the structure of the facility because they would have to grind the brick where the mastic is. So we would need to review with structural engineers to make sure that during that removal process, if the building were to be reoccupied, that the method of removal isn't going to compromise the structure.
So it's possible then that even if we went down a route of a lengthy and costly remediation efforts, that the building itself might still be compromised.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. If we can then, we'll have Mark available for further questions, but I think if we can present then now Junius Williams to discuss what is being proposed. So as you've heard,
I just had one question for Mr. Constantino, which is my understanding of demolition is that if the property is to be demolished or to be preserved, that the demolition or that the asbestos is to be removed entirely from the property before the demolition work starts. Could you discuss the difference between asbestos removal before demolition or asbestos removal before renovation?
So asbestos removal before demolition, you don't have to fall into the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs regulations for a full containment under a negative air pressure. So that we're basically creating negative air pressure so that any fibers being released during the asbestos abatement is being filtered through a HEPA filter which is a high efficiency particulate air filter, up to 99.97% effective. And with that, as I mentioned before, it includes a full containment, which takes longer to construct, and we're creating a friable environment within that containment via whether it's grinding, chipping at the brick. And then if we were to do it as a pre-demolition project versus a renovation, we would be doing it in a manner that's less friable because they're basically essentially using amended water, which is a water compound. And as they're wetting it, the brick becomes looser and they can remove it without affecting or potentially affecting the structural integrity of the building. And since the building is not going to be reoccupied, there's less stringent requirements for the containment. It will still be under negative air pressure and HEPA filters and monitored with air sampling during abatement. And then post abatement, we'd run clearance samples within it to show that there's no airborne asbestos fibers. We conduct a visual inspection and making sure that there's no visible dust. We use wipes to make sure that there's no dust. So the biggest difference is if the building's going to be reoccupied, it's a stricter requirement for the containment.
Thank you, Mr. Constantino. Just one last question, which is for demolition removal to remove asbestos for demolition versus to remove asbestos for renovation, given that asbestos removal for renovation is held to a higher standard, what is the cost difference between those two strategies?
Based on the estimates that were provided, it's about 1.6 to 2 in just the abatement cost. I can't speak to the demolition cost because that's not part of my contract with this, and I'm not versed in that, but that's what we'd estimate, and the time difference to do it as a pre-renovation project, it would be between 5 to 6 months compared to the abatement portion being pre-demolition abatement, that is, would be about 2.5 to 3 months.
Okay, so the avenue of demolition is 1.5, about 1.5, $1.6 million cheaper, and is about 4 months quicker. And so it's a difference of, from what I'm hearing from you, about 4 months and about 1.5, $1.6 million between these two strategies, holding aside the cost of demolition and versus the cost of renovation.
Correct.
Well, that is, but one item on that, the demolition and abatement, the reoccupation of the area that was not previously approved for demolition is not just a pure asbestos to abate. So I think Mark is talking about.
Tim, you cut out. You said
I was trying to explain that I was explaining that Mark's testimony is on the portion of the demo that was, I believe, and you can confirm, was on the portion of the demo that was previously approved. If we were to abate the area to reoccupy the area that was not previously approved, we would have to gut the interior of the building before we could get to the abatement. So his numbers, I think, you can confirm, is specifically on the abatement, not on the total project cost.
Yeah, what Tim is saying is correct. If we were to move forward with it as a renovation, it would have to be exposed as part of the pre-demolition and the prep of the work area. They'd expose it, and then we'd build the containment around it. And the plan would be to start at the top floor and work our way down since dust settles. And again, we'd have to expose everything. It's not readily accessible, and it's behind plaster walls, wood framing, and metal sheeting that also has plaster. So it's pretty intensive to get to the actual material itself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nance, was encapsulation considered within this scope?
Right. So when we discovered the material during the renovations previously a few months ago, we presented NJPAC as the project designer. I presented them a few options of how we could move forward with abatement. One is including leaving it in place, but the material for the building that was originally approved for demolition would still have to be abated. And since the building will have a portion remaining that's going to be occupied, that would then require the entire project to go as a full containment renovation project. We can't separate the two based on how the building's laid out.
This is Commissioner Zhang. This is following on Commissioner Nance's comments. Given the scale of this project, did you consider, or is it possible to go with two abatement strategies, a less strict and cheaper abatement strategy for demolition of the rear portion versus the more expensive and complete abatement strategy for the front portion. It seems from Mr. Constantino's earlier testimony that it's either full encapsulation of the site or no encapsulation.
So we couldn't move forward with just encapsulation, where you're spraying it with the encapsulant, which is essentially a binding paint to basically adhere to the asbestos to keep it in place so that's not disturbed in the future and it stabilizes it. And kind of how I mentioned before is that because there was a proposed plan to demo part of the building, we can't make a clear distinction between the two sides and separate them. So we would have to remove it prior to any demolition. And then on top of that, if they do any renovation work within the interior of the building, as they're putting up walls in there, whatever would do, you'd still have to address the asbestos in a limited kind of scope of work where you're just doing spot abatements, which it takes more time and as well as expensive because you're mobilizing the site, demobilizing, creating more work areas. With the current proposed scope as pre-demolition abatement, with the interior of the building being demolished prior, we'd have just one work area on each floor, and that'd speed up the process as well as allow us to do the removal in a more safe manner by limiting how many work areas we're going to have.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I just had one other question, which is, given that this building, seeing from the site plan, it consists of like the two parts, the front part and the rear part, connected by a series of hallways. Given that's almost two buildings in that way, how many connections are there between the proposed part originally proposed for demolition versus renovation? So are they two properties that share a large party wall or only a small amount of connections? So how easy is it to separate these two properties?
So that's an option that we explored when we discovered this, and we were laying out the options you could theoretically separate the buildings with a firewall and close off any utilities between the two. And as we were going through that, we discussed with the contractors on site and came up with the proposed plan, how that would look like. So that is, again, kind of outside my scope, how they would be able to kind of engineer that. But that was an option, is putting a firewall, cutting off utilities between the two buildings. And ultimately,
I'll add to that a little bit, Commissioner. There's in any regard, there's going to be renovations to the reoccupied portion of the building in a significant way. And I don't know that we're comfortable reoccupying the building without doing a full abatement if we were to preserve that portion of the building. It's one thing, we were not aware of it. It's another thing now that we're aware of it. I don't know that I'm comfortable in putting people in potential harm's way for the future.
Unless there's any other questions for Mark Constantino, then if it's okay, then I'd like to have us introduce Junius Williams to speak about the committee that he has formed in order to memorialize the activities within 24 Rector Street and in an appropriate fashion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. I'm happy to be here. Not only am I the historian, but I was at that Black Power conference, and most of which was held at 24 Rector Street. There were about 1,000 people who came from all over the country. The history, a little history just of the conference itself. It came after the rebellion to be stopped, but Nathan Wright, who said, no, we got to have this because it's especially important that we talk about what just happened and what Black people want under the umbrella of Black Power. And so the commission, I'm sorry, so I have this letter here for you. It's an informal letter.
Mr. Williams, just one question. Can you please take the screen down? Whoever has a screen up, can you take the screen
right.
down?
Sure.
Good idea.
There you go.
Right.
Looks like they're frozen again.
Okay.
Start again or just to continue?
Yeah, you were frozen for a moment, but I think you can start by the members of the committee that you're forming.
Well, just a little more history. You had several leaders there who were it's very important to recognize this was a very important space because it belonged to the Episcopal Church at that time, and they were nice enough to allow this to go on. A lot of people wouldn't let this happen, but it did happen. And so, as the official historian, I was asked to convene a small group of people to begin thinking about what a memorial would look like to commemorate this event. All of that is history that we need to commemorate. And so this committee, I think, will do that. Marsha Brown, Vice Chancellor, retired of something has got me going here.
Some water? Is it got water right there?
Okay.
All right.
Marsha Brown, a lot of us know her, Vice Chancellor, retired from Rutgers University. Barbara Bell Coleman, whose father, Nathan Wright, was a convener of this Black Power Conference. Zaid Mohammed, who's a Newark organizer. Noel Lorraine Williams, director of the African American History Program and the Black Heritage Trail for the New Jersey Historical Association, Commission. Peter Blackmer, who's a professor at Eastern Michigan University and co-developer of Rise Up Newark along with me, riseupnewark.com. And we've added another person who also Becky, maybe some call her Rebecca Doggett, who was a senior fellow at the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, now retired. And it will be our job to work with the architect who will be able to set out the actual ground plan, but this has to be a commemoration that will substantially involve the community. And in the end, once this thing has had a substantial portion of planning, we'll come back to this committee, this commission, so that you can see what we're planning to do. And that will be in the spring of 2026. And once this is developed, we want to bring in we want to have a national convening to commemorate what happened in Newark at that time. So just in conclusion, yes, it's a good building. It's a trade-off. The significance of the building can be commemorated in a fashion that more people will learn about this history and the history of the building. The last time I was in the 24 Rector Street, I remember seeing was there were a lot of discussion that was taking place in there, very, very personal. But with this planned park and with this living kind of memorial that we plan to put there, people can interact and learn a lot more coming to that park than they would just looking at that building. So but in this case, I think the trade-off is worth it.
Thank you, Junius. Commissioners, we're happy to take any questions that you have of any of the witnesses that we put on this evening. I think the moral of the story here is that NJPAC did explore various options to try to retain the portion of the building that was proposed to be retained in 2022. Unfortunately, due to this asbestos conditions, it's not feasible for it to stay on the site. So what they're trying to do in an alternative fashion here is preserve the facade of the most prominent portion of the building, as well as create this public park that Junie has discussed to commemorate the events that occurred within the building, which are the most significant part of the building itself. So happy to answer any questions, but that is the summary of our presentation tonight. And we ask that you look favorably upon the demolition approval.
Commissioner O'Toole?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Commissioner O'Toole.
Yes, this is Commissioner O'Toole. I'm not sure who I would be directing this question to. But if we do get to the point where we're doing the park, is there any assurances that it will stay a park indefinitely with deed restrictions and different things like that? As you know, the real estate market and the development in the city is accelerating faster than the speed of light.
Yep.
And if we do this park to commemorate what happened there, I would hate to see in 5 years or 10 years, or 15 or 20, that it was bulldozed for a parking lot or something else. So
May
is
I
there any
take the-
plan to do that?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Space where one didn't exist.
Wait,
And-
John, you
John,
froze completely
again.
entirely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The answer is yes. We will guarantee that it remain a public park space. Did you hear that?
Yes.
This
I'm
is
going to try one more time. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, yes. It will remain a public park space indefinitely. We love the idea of creating new park space.
Frozen again, but that's a yes.
Mr.
And I
Miller?
think
Mr. Miller, you were getting ready to speak?
I just have a couple of questions with regard to how far are you along in a demolition?
We have we've ceased demolition pending this meeting. I'm sorry, am I frozen now?
no, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah,
Do you have pictures?
we've ceased
I'm sorry,
any
go
demolition.
ahead.
We've stopped any demolition activity pending this meeting.
Okay, do you have any pictures of what you have done so far?
Just interior demolition. If you give me a minute or two, I might be able to find a couple, but there.
I'm sorry, he broke up, I couldn't hear.
Just interior
So-
demolition. There's no exterior demolition yet. Just interior demolition.
Okay, so you have pictures of that?
Not readily available. I can get some afterwards. If we have enough time, I could probably find a couple.
Okay.
Commissioner Zhang, you were getting ready to say something?
Yes. This is Commissioner Zhang. Thank you, Mr. Williams, Mr. Junius Williams, for your testimony. I know that you and I are a deeply respected local historian. I had one kind of a question here is that not only is this the site of the NJPAC campus, the site of the Black Power Conference, it was also the site of the Trinity Church burial ground and the site where the city of Newark was founded. I believe that there was also a monument commemorating the people buried in Trinity Church Cemetery that was previously displayed at the foot of Center Street in the campus. There was also an agreement from the 1990s that I believe NJPAC signed with the State Historic Preservation Office. And I believe that agreement from the 1993 required that Cathedral House be preserved and that there be some form of permanent commemoration for the Trinity Church burial ground. So I would second Mr. Commissioner O'Toole's comment that, to my mind, a verbal agreement that this property will become a public park isn't enough, that these agreements from 1993 need to be enforced today, as well as there needs to be written signed agreements so that this does not become that whatever park is there isn't temporary, because I'm thinking to the history of the site where there are parks previously on the site and monuments previously on the site that were installed and then removed. And I'm deeply concerned that that strategy in the past would repeat itself with this site of the Black Power Conference.
Yeah, and Mr. Zhang, to alleviate the concerns you heard from John Schreiber, we NJPAC would be willing to do a deed restriction on the property that would be of record on title. So all would be on notice as to this being preserved for the public park.
And I had one other question, which is the 1993-106 agreement required a deed restriction to be imposed on the property as condition of approving the demolition of other sites on the NJPAC campus. NJPAC was required to put the deed restriction on the Cathedral House. Do you know if there's currently a deed restriction on Cathedral House?
I'm unaware either way. I don't believe that there is, but I'm not their transactional attorney. I'm not familiar with that.
Did
But
the
I don't
state-
believe that it exists today.
Did the state ever follow up on the 1993 agreement with regards to the enforcement of any deed restrictions and other requirements for the commemoration of the Trinity Church burial ground?
Commissioner,
No.
just to address the question about the burial ground, we have a glass etching that we have preserved that is our intention to reinstall at the completion of construction. We've protected it. I would like to propose, as we think about the park, that the park is the most suitable place for that etching and that cemetery commemorative monument to be installed if the park is constructed there. Alternatively, our other location was along
Commissioner
Before-
Grosclaw, could I just ask a question? I was
Yes,
at the-
sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Commissioner Grosskopf.
I remember that this came before us in a different way back maybe a year ago. I don't know if Kevin remembers the date of it or so, but we,
Yes, this Commissioner Miller, that is true.
okay. And I thought that we gave something up to keep something else. Now, could we rehash what we talked about at that time so that we don't get, that we realize it was said at that time and then that we went against it without permission or something like that?
Mr. Grosskopf,
This is
I'm
Commissioner-
unfamiliar with what you're
Commissioner- I'm
speaking
sorry, go ahead.
about. I was involved with the 2022 application related to 24 Rector Street. I've been in JPAC's councils since that time. We have not, unless they've appeared without my knowledge, there has been no appearance before the Historic Commission since then. So I'm not quite clear as to what this might have been about.
This is Commissioner Smith. I was here when we first discovered the burial site when the late Donald Tucker and us worked on that project in a term of the Sharp James administration. In 2022, I was here as a commissioner with Commissioner Miller and a few others, and we agreed to not to demolish part of it. The reason that we're here today is because of the discovery of them moving forward and discovering that there's asbestos there, that they wanted to come back to us and due diligence and say that because of asbestos, they want to propose something else. And that's it. They're not going against, I don't believe that they're going against what we said they were going to do, because the reason they discovered asbestos is because they were trying to do what we told them that they had to do based upon what we voted on in 2022.
I agree with that.
Correct.
Okay, so I had one more question, which is, or two questions. The first one is short. What is the total cost of NJPAC's campus reconstruction, all the buildings combined, the Cooperman Arts Center, all the new constructions? What is the ballpark cost for that?
It's about a $330 million total investment, all of which is previously committed to do the balance of the project.
Okay.
As we testified before, we had a couple $1 million identified for this particular piece of the project. As you probably know, a project like this is a lot of funds committed to do different pieces of it. I've also, by the way, for Commissioner, had found a couple of photos I'm going to share.
Yeah,
And
but
what-
staying on that for a moment, Tim, just so the commission has a full flavor of this, that money, a large portion of that money, that was monies, provided to NJPAC through the Aspira grant granted by the state. And the reason why NJPAC is also here looking for this I'm not going to say expedited demolition approval, but is because the Aspire Award, as part of that award, there's a required completion date, which is 2027. In the event that this demolition gets upheld or there has to be greater things related to the 24 Rector Street building, it delays the overall project because it's a holistic development and construction site right now. So that's why NJPAC is here today saying, can you, approve this demolition, but we're going to come back to you with what our final plan is in the spring of 2026. Normally, we will come with you with that finalized plan today, but because of this Aspire grant and the risk of jeopardizing the entire project and the grant monies, that's why they're here before you this evening with the demo.
Lisa's absolutely correct. It jeopardizes the entire schedule of the project.
Thank you for that clarification. The reason I was asking that original question was I was going to ask if from Mr. Constantino's testimony, the cost of the abatement was pegged for the front half was pegged around 1.5. I was going to suggest that 1.5 million out of a $330 million project is a very, very small 0.3% of it. So I'm hearing from the lawyer here that there's also a timeline that NJPAC feels pressed to work with.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to share the pictures that I found of the interior?
Sure, you can share them.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Miller. I just want to say something before that. At the beginning of the presentation, Council mentioned that they had set aside $2 million for the abatement or for anything related to the asbestos. But the engineer that gave the report said that it will only cost 1.6. Do you want to clarify that?
Yes, 2 million for not just the abatement, for the repositioning of the building, the demolition, the stabilization, and the reoccupancy of the building. So it was much more than just the 2 million was much more than.
And just the abatement that include all the costs related to the preservation of 24 Rector, not just the abatement remediation.
For the asbestos that we were aware of, we had about $80,000 in the budget because we were aware of some pipe elbows and things of that nature, which we were undertaking its remediation as part of this process. So here's just that was exposed, and I don't know where in the building this is, truthfully, but it's in the building. Here's a full wall that shows the asbestos. You see the note there where it says hot. That hot means it is tested positive for asbestos. So all of this black mastic would have to be removed as part of the abatement. There's a ceiling tile as part of the demolition. So these are just a couple of the interior demolition pieces. It's scattered throughout the building, looking like this in all areas of the building.
This is Commissioner Miller. It's just going back to Commissioner Zhang mentioned earlier with regard to the agreement of the deed restriction. The land record for Essex County does not show anything that was recorded with regard to that deed restriction. Being the fact that that was something that that NJPAC agreed to do back at that time, and then not do it, and then being that you came before our board before, and kind of we agree on something, now we're going back to something else. I don't know if we can say that, like Commissioner Otu mentioned, that this will remain part because it looks like things have not been done when you guys have agreed to do it.
Yeah, well, I think what was explained is there was every full intention on preserving a portion of the building as was approved in 2022. It was only recently discovered this asbestos issue, which is why we're before you this evening. It's because of health, safety, and the putting in jeopardy the entire project, why we're seeking the additional demolition of the building. As far as what occurred in the past, I can't speak to what has occurred in the past, but there's a representation from us on the record that a deed restriction will be put in place. And we can work that out with City Corporation Council if necessary, but we will record it and provide a copy to the commission for its records and to the city for its records. But we need the full design of the park in order to do that. So we have the exact, meets and bounds description of the area that is going to be dedicated. So we do have to do the park construction first, and then do the deed restriction.
So this is Commissioner Miller. I don't think you understood what I was mentioning earlier. I was piggybacking on what Commissioner Zank said, and I had done the research at land record, and there was nothing recorded. And what I am saying to you is that I just don't see how we can agree. I don't know about everybody else, but there is a old saying, right? If you're not gonna do it, if you didn't do it before, you're not gonna do it now. So if in 1990, if I'm correct, when it was passed originally, the Historical Commission of New Jersey, NJPAT agreed to do this. Here we are, 2025, and it still hasn't been recorded.
Yeah, so
Did you see anything wrong with that? I mean, that's something that should have been done. How did that go through the crack? It's
Yeah,
the same thing. It's the same thing that if we agree to do anything today, I just don't feel that, personally, that the behavior that's been shown in the past is going to be any difference in the future.
yeah, I can't speak to anything that happened 35 years ago, but what we can say, and if you want a hook, yeah, that this CO for a portion of the overall project won't be issued until this deed restriction is recorded. I mean, that's something that can be done so that this is going to actually happen.
And without a CO, we can't get our $200 million of tax credit. So that's a fairly big hammer that would hold us to the effort, Commissioner. So I think that would provide me, if I was in your shoes, a lot of comfort.
So this is
Right.
Commissioner Smith. I think that there's a lot that's happened over the years as it relates to this site and the work that we're doing to move this project forward. I appreciate you giving a full testimony in reference to the remediation, the asbestos, and everything that's happened. And we talked about the past. I think there's some things that's on the table in reference to having sureties if a vote was taken in reference to if it's going to be a park or not a park. I can't speak to what did not happen in the past, but we're talking about right now, here and today. Commissioner Miller did speak about protocol. And I know that you have agreed that if we either vote or we don't vote today, but moving forward to have a tour, and for those who are interested in a tour, then come back and vote on this again. We have to make a decision on how we want to move forward with this, because I think we don't need to continue to litigate what happened in the past as we're trying to move this project forward right now.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I just
been
added
trying
one.
to say something for a while. Commissioner Epps has
Sorry for
been,
interrupting, but
yeah, Commissioner Epps been trying to talk for a long time.
for a
now,
long
so-
time.
Yes,
I've had my
let her
hand
have
up
it.
and I've
Commissioner Epps, please
sat
talk.
back and I've been quiet. I haven't been too forceful in trying to make my comment simply because I can't vote. I have a conflict of interest in all of this. But as someone who spent a good 7 years of her life working on a dissertation about what happened in 1967 and the aftermath, I feel I can't sit here and be totally quiet about it. What is important to remember? It's important to remember what happened, why it happened, the people that were involved, and what resulted from that particular action. It doesn't take a building to keep the memory alive, or to commemorate the lives that were lost, or to remember the speeches that were made. It doesn't take a building. What this project, what they are promising, and we have to hold them to the promise, is creating an area where this conference took place that will forever tell anyone who visits the story of what happened on that land in July of 1967. That's the most important part. That is more important to me than people residing in a building with asbestos that could possibly make them ill or kill them. So I'm usually for the restoration for a building. I lived in a historic house for 42 years. I know what all of that means. But we have to weigh the consequences with this. Well, you have to weigh I can't vote, but I really feel that I have to say it's not just the building that we're trying to keep alive. We're trying to keep alive what happened on that particular spot
60 some odd years ago, and we're trying to keep the memory of what happened there for generations and generations to come. We'll all be gone, and hopefully that space will still be there and will still be seen as sacred space to what happened in 1967. So there are a number of different issues on the table. I'm only addressing that one because I feel very passionate and very strong about it. And I believe in the integrity of, if I believe in the integrity of anyone on the Zoom, it's Junius and what he and his team, that I know all of the people on that committee, and I can't serve on that committee either because that would also be a conflict of interest. But we have to weigh the safety, right, of the people who will use that area. And we have to weigh how we want that area memorialized in making a decision.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I'll just make a quick comment. I really agree with Commissioner Epps that this history is really important. To my mind, the question is not whether or not this building may have asbestos. I mean, if it does have asbestos, that's a mitigating condition. To my mind, the larger question is this building or is this history valuable enough to Newark as to justify the $1.5 or $1.6 million extra cost for the abatement of the property? And so I think that there's a long history of buildings that were successfully abated given a frequency of asbestos contamination across buildings. And I believe there are many other buildings that were industrial factories such as Murphy Varnish, which aren't associated with Black history, but were nonetheless abated because even though they had asbestos and industrial contamination and chemicals. So to my assessment as a design professional, the quantity of asbestos in this building and the depth of the contamination is within reason and salvageable, firstly. And secondly, this building is important enough as to justify that extra cost. So it's firstly feasible and secondly important enough to justify.
This is Commissioner Smith. The genesis of all of this and the reason that we got to preserving this building was about what happened in 1967. And to Commissioner Epps' point, I believe that I can vote. I believe that we can get more from having something that more people can see and be a part of, as opposed to about what just happened in a building. And I think, and so I know that we have some commissioners on here that have to recluse themselves from voting, but I just want to just make sure of that point is that the only reason that we were here was because of what happened in 1967 beyond the building. Because when we started to vote on this, the building had already, because of the design and the artwork that was put on the building, had been defaced, and we were not happy with that from the beginning. But we wanted to preserve this building because of the history. Commissioner John Paul?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I also have to recuse myself from voting this evening, but I wanted to just weigh in on some thoughts, particularly around Commissioner Epps and Smith's recent comments. I realize many people want to see this building preserved, but one of the most significant parts of it will be preserved. And there's actually this incredible opportunity to educate and to celebrate the legacy of this space in a really significant way with this path forward. By building a park, you actually gather a much larger audience. And with Junius's efforts, you'll be able to share the legacy of this building through its multiple phases over the last 100 years. And as it stands right now, only a select audience gets to enter the space or has entered the space as its form of a school. When it becomes a public park, it becomes a space for everybody, and that knowledge gets extended to everybody, and that legacy of that work gets extended to everybody. So in the spirit of solution forward, I think there is a great opportunity here to preserve the most significant design aspects of the building and create a new opportunity to share the history with a much larger audience. And if there are concerns around if NJPAC will keep this park intact, is there a means for us to give direction for them to provide that through their counsel who's here today, and give them a path forward so that they meet the deadline so they can do the much larger impact-driven work around them.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I'll just make two comments. I'm concerned that this project might set a precedent for other projects, given the frequency of asbestos contamination across the city. I'm afraid that if the justification for this project, that its asbestos contamination justifies its demolition, is applied citywide, then a good number, possibly the majority of future projects would also be eligible for demolition under that criteria. So that's the first concern. And the other concern I have is, I think to my mind, as someone who lives in history, I think there is no real substitute to walking into a room, feeling the texture of the space, the shape of the room, the smell, the sounds. That living history, to my mind, is more than a park. Living history is a place that you can walk into, and there's no substitute to visiting the White House or visiting a Southern plantation house and standing inside a slave court and seeing what this history feels like. And I think that the history of the site is valuable enough as to justify that extra cost of effort and time. So I think it's the question of the feasibility of asbestos removal is beyond doubt. It can be remediated. The question to my mind is the cost of that remediation worth equal to the value of the site? Thank you.
Mr. Zhang, just to speak to precedent, every application rises and falls on its own merits. In this case, there's asbestos. There's significant asbestos in our mind and NJPAC's mind, nonprofit looking to support community and concerned with reoccupying that space with individuals, number one. Number two, as was stated, there is an opportunity to preserve the facade of the building, a significant portion of the facade, the 3-story portion, as well as to create this outdoor space to commemorate the Black Power conference that occurred there, as all the individuals say, which allows for an opportunity for a greater number of people to understand and respect what occurred in that building for eternity with the deed restrictions. So I just wanted to touch on that. And the asbestos remediation, I think, as Tim wants to say and was said before, a portion of it is costing $1.5 million, but overall it's approximately a $5 million additional cost to the project than what was anticipated. So Tim.
Wait, before Tim speaks, Commissioner Nance, I see that you have your hand up also.
Yes, I just wanted to add one question and also a comment. So it really sounds like the community would really benefit from this being a park, and it would really expose a lot more people to this this monument and this commemoration. But as I wasn't here in 2022, I was wondering what the proposed program of the building was going to be, because that really makes a difference in understanding the value of it to the community.
Thank you, Commissioner. We actually didn't have a program for the building when we came in 2022, because our first application was to demo the entire building. So we didn't have a need for it because we were building the Cooperman Center, and we we're going to move all the programmatic aspects of what we were doing in this building to the front door of our center, and we didn't have a necessary need. We tried to address the comments of the community by keeping a portion of the building, but we didn't really have a need for it, and we still don't really have a need for it necessarily.
Yeah. So I think what was stated by Tim earlier is that this was used as arts education building in its last reiteration, and if the portion of the building that was supposed to be retained in 2022 was retained, it would be approximately 3,000 square feet of usable space for community space. It's not needed by NJPAC currently because they're under construction with the Cooperman Center, which is 58,000 square feet of community space. And they found a different location for their administrative offices. So NJPAC doesn't have a need for this building currently. And they believe for multiple reasons that, the Cooperman Center is more than sufficient for taking care of the needs that were occurring within this building, and that preservation for 3,000 square feet of space as a steward of the community and as a nonprofit, it just doesn't make practical sense either for giving back to the community, I'll say.
This is Commissioner Miller. I just want to say that when I joined this commission, the purpose of this commission is to review buildings that are in a historical area of Newark. And this particular building is a contributed building. And it was used in the application for this area to be a historical area. And I think that says a lot about the building itself. And so I understand what many have said with regard to the building, but I myself, as a commissioner for Landmark Commission, I'm here to evaluate historical building that have historical fact that have been appointed by the state of New Jersey and Newark to see if it's something that we need to preserve or we need to demolish. And so conserving the building is really what Landmark Commission is all about. And so for us to even look at it as something other than that is beyond the scope of our commission. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
I'd like to just address Commissioner Zhang's comment about the economics. We haven't talked, I don't think, enough about the impact on the project, the overall project, the larger development, which is integral to this project. So there's been some level of confusion over the cost premiums of doing this and not returning this. But when it comes to the overall impact of the delay of the remedial actions, and the reason it's an emergent issue for us, it's so impactful for the entire project infrastructure and the way that the development of the high rise and the mid rise and the street interact with this area of the building, that a delay of 3, 6, 9 months or more has a domino effect on when we can complete the balance of the project. So there's a cost for this building that is directly for this building, but there's a significant cost for delays in the project that are not just that are almost unmeasurable, because you've got delays in getting the Aspire tax credit, you have delays in the project costs for all the other development. So there's a lot of other costs that are inherent in this particular, and I just wanted to say that.
So this is Commissioner Smith. I'm going to go to Commissioner Hollis, and then and I'm having a moment here. The other gentleman is
Junius.
a national historian. I just want to say that I'm sorry about that. We're not. I believe that, and I hear you, Commissioner Miller, and while we're here, but it's to be clear, it's not about tearing the entire building down. It's a portion of the building and keeping the portion they can keep, but also celebrating what has happened in 1967. Commissioner Hollis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to go back to the initial discussion. I believe we heard from Commissioner Miller earlier that the protocol is for touring the building, and I wondered if we before we take a vote, if we were going to adjourn this matter and allow the commission to do that tour. If you believe that is necessary, then we should allow the commissioners who would like to take the tour to be able to do that. But I would like to hear from members of the public if they're here to express any comments.
Sure. Before that happens, we have our Newark historian, and please, Junius, would you, if you have your hand raised, please speak.
Yes. Just two things. I was listening to what Commissioner Zhang was saying about the feeling that you get from the building just to be in the space where certain things happen, and I like it. That's why I'm a historian, among other things. But we can preserve that history better outside in that park. So the history will not be lost. And so that's one criteria. And then going to look at what's going to be replaced, and putting on another hat, I'm a musician too, and I know what it's like to have a space to go and play. And we didn't have that where I came from when I was young. But all the things that are going to go on in that building, you can't do it at 24 rectors. It's just not going to happen. It's the space that, and NJPAC has a history of proving that what the space they have, not only in Newark, but all over the state. So I'm saying it's a twofer. You trade off the building itself, but don't lose the history. But you get so much more with those 58,000 square feet that is going to be in there for young musicians and other kind of related artists. And I think that's a worthy trade-off.
May I add to that, please? In addition to the 58,000 square foot Education and Community Center, we purchased 31 Mulberry Street. And that, I believe, is another, Tim, can you give me the square footage on that?
17,000 square feet.
Another 17,000 square feet. We will be able to utilize spaces at 31 Mulberry for community activities and education activities. As we're saying, the trade-off, if we were to maintain 24 Rector, we'd literally have, I think, 3,000 to 5,000 square feet of usable space. We honestly don't need that space. We have we have a state-of-the-art education and community center, and we have a building at 31 Mulberry that we know we will be utilizing as our social impact programs grow over the years.
This is Commissioner Zhang. Thank you, Mr. Schreiber and Mr. Williams. I would just like to cite that I don't think it's a choice between either this building or either a park. I think that, to my mind, NJPAC's campus is large enough to accommodate both the preservation of this building as well as an adjacent park because of the other kinds of histories that go on here, particularly as they relate to the African burial ground site, the Trinity Church Cemetery, the Kojo Benkwante site, the founding of Newark at this location. And I think it could be really uniquely powerful for NJPAC's campus to incorporate a park, to incorporate a memory space. But I also think that given the size of NJPAC's campus and the flexibility of other open areas within that campus, I think that a range of locations could be identified other than this property.
Commissioners, and do we have any more comments as relates to the presentation? Commissioner Grosskopf?
I'm fine. Yep.
Okay. So we can move forward because we have enough commissioners that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we can vote on this because we have 2 that have to recluse themselves. We have 2 that may not vote for this, or we can move forward and have the tour and then come back in January to vote on this. I'm thinking that.
Don't forget the public. Don't forget the public. You almost forgot.
Yeah.
No, I haven't forgot the public. I'm going to get to that,
okay.
but I'm just setting the facts.
Yeah.
So everybody can be clear. Okay.
With
so
the
where we're at with
recusals,
this.
with the recusals, we have 7 voting members then? If I'm
We have Commissioner Nance, Commissioner Grosskopf, Commissioner Smith, that's 3, Commissioner Hollis, and Commissioner O2. We have Commissioner Miller and we have Commissioner Zhang. So that's 7 commissioners here.
Yep.
And Commissioner Epps. Did I say Commissioner Epps? So Commissioner Epps, Zhang, John Paul.
Epps is
but John Paul,
recusing.
John Paul and Epps are recusing. But we have O2, Nance, Grosskopf, Smith, Hollis, Zane, and Miller on here, which all can vote.
7, yes. Okay, good.
Yes, we have 7 that can vote.
Yeah, we're comfortable to proceed if you would like
Okay,
to open.
but we need to hear from the public. So
To the public, yeah.
if commissioners have nothing else to any questions they have, and you're comfortable with that, then Madam Secretary, is there anyone in the public that would like to make any comments as it relates to this presentation?
Let me see. No, there are no raised hand.
Okay, so since there's no raised hands and no
Okay,
one
hold
from,
on. Someone just raised their hand. Hold on. Okay, Michelle Buck too. I'm gonna bring her in, and Tom Anchor.
okay.
I'm gonna bring. Okay, I have 3. Okay.
Okay, bring them in.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, this is Michelle Butchko. I'm a member of the Forest Hill Community Association Historic Preservation Committee. I'm also a member of Newark Landmarks. And I'm a little disturbed, more than a little disturbed about this coming to a head here after being voted down a couple of years ago. Having a lot of discussion about asbestos. Thank God none of you come to my house. You'll have to duck under the wrapped asbestos pipe. And some of the things that NJPAC has done, for example, the landing monument that I know they know what I'm talking about, it's an issue. The founders of Newark kind of are in a field somewhere upside down with no place to go. NJPAC did renege on its agreement. I also have an issue. I think some more of you might have to recuse yourself. I don't know. Commissioner Smith, didn't you work for NJPAC a while ago? Just a question. I think you did.
He did.
Yeah, you might want to recuse yourself then. I'm
Yes,
not a
you
lawyer.
asked me,
Yeah.
you asked me that I work for NJPAC? No, I did not work for NJPAC.
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. Someone said you did. All right, we're not going to belabor this. Okay, and anyone else? I know Rebecca, is involved and she recused herself. I'm not sure who else. Yeah, I don't know why do we have a Landmarks Commission if we're not going to respect our landmarks? I don't get it. This is something that we talk about all the time. We work so hard for preservation. We do the research. We use our landmarks in Newark as talking points for the city of Newark, and then we want to knock them down. Don't like it. And that's all I have to say right now. I might come back.
Next person, Miss Ann or Mr. Tom Anker.
So
Ankner?
my name is Tom Ankner. I'm the president of Newark Landmarks, and I'm also I also run the New Jersey room at the Newark Public Library. I have a real interest in Newark history. In that discussion about a park being just as good as a building, I have to agree with Commissioner Zhang. There's something about a building that is just a more concrete commemoration of an event. I don't think people get the same sense when they walk into a park with a monument in the middle of it that's the site of something meaningful. I think it means more to them when they actually see the building where that event took place. And I know it was said at one point when someone said that well, we're saving the facade, but you're really only saving part of the facade, and it's really just the front of part of the building. I don't think you're saving the full building. And I think as the commission, your concern should be with the saving, as my colleague Michelle Butchko just said, that you should be protecting the city's landmarks. And this is a landmark. This is an important building in a historic district. I think it's something that you should be concerned with. I don't think you should just let something be destroyed. And I also don't think that, I know there is I don't see with a $300 million project, I also don't see where even $5 million added to the project would be a really significant increase. It seems like something you should be able to save. And the point was made also that there is asbestos in a lot of buildings that are in historic districts. So it's not like this is a new issue. And I know you just discovered it in this building recently, but it's not something that's new to the issue in general. And I really hope that you do not vote to allow NJPAC to demolish this building. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Ann?
Yes, I'm Ann Mabry. I live at 23 James Street in the James Street Commons Historic District. I've been watching this case closely. The fact is that NJPAC has an obligation to uphold its agreement as memorialized in the 1993 MOA between SHPO and NJPAC, and again in 2022 with you, the commissioners. And quite frankly, you, the commissioners, have an obligation to uphold that agreement. Now, NJPAC can't really just commit and then turn around and say, oops, oh, we changed our mind. We don't know how to use this space. But maybe maybe those optics aren't great. So let's come up with something better. Hey, how about asbestos? We'll pay an engineer to write a report that there's asbestos. It works like a charm every time. The fact of the matter is that if every historic building with asbestos was demolished, we wouldn't have any historic buildings in Newark. So I think that's a kind of red herring, quite honestly. And sometimes I actually wonder if maybe NJPAC didn't know all along and kind of just said they would do the right thing, but always in the back of the mind, they were thinking, we'll come back and we'll ask for a change and we'll have enough commissioners to support us, including you, Anthony Smith, who I think should recuse yourself because you've been a former executive director of NJPAC, according to NJ Diggs, as reported today. I'm very happy to hear that Linda Epps is recusing herself, as well as Rebecca Jempol.
So we appreciate.
Yeah, wait, I'm not done yet. Wait, I have my 3 minutes. Okay. I'm not done yet. Then you can say, please, because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to finish what I want to say. With all due respect to Junius Williams, who I've known for decades, to hear him say you learn more about the history of a building by tearing it down is shocking to hear from a historian. With all due respect to you, Junius, I find that just completely implausible. So NJPAC has had a history of abdicating their responsibility. This is a pattern. In the same document where they agreed to keep the Cathedral House, they also agreed to relocate the Landing Place Monument to another site within the project area. John Schreiber knows exactly what I'm talking about because now they're trying to wash their hands of that agreement while the statue sits moldering in the city of Newark parking lot. So why is it that the public has to keep holding their feet to the fire for them to keep their word? And finally, I just want to say that this item on the agenda you need to delay this vote. You have too much conflict of interest, including yourself, Mr. Smith. And on that, I'll close. Thank you.
So thank you for your comments, but you're not accurate, or NJ Diggs is not accurate because I've never been the executive director in any form or fashion at
Okay, but
NJ.
your organization in Lincoln Park has an affiliation with NJPAC. You articulate with them.
Yes. Well, Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District, a nonprofit, works with everyone in the city of Newark, along with James Street.
Okay.
So that being said, thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Yes. So we don't have any more comments from the public, Madam Secretary? Okay, so we've got the comments from the public. Ms. Bosley, you said you would like for us to move forward with a vote. Can I give someone to make a motion to move with the demolition of this building?
I'm making a motion to table the application.
I second Commissioner Zhang's motion.
To be clear, is the motion to table so that there can be a tour of the building? Is that the purpose of
Commissioner
tabling?
Zhang didn't specify, but I would motion that we table this to do a tour before next month.
Yes, this is Coombs Hollis. I believe that earlier in the discussion that a little bit of back and forth with my apologies because I know the passion that's there for this project on both sides. But I heard I hear the public and I heard from Commissioner Miller and she wanted the ability to tour the building. And I believe that we should give the commissioner the ability to tour the building and hold the vote, Mr. Chairman, until the next meeting.
So we can
Nope.
adjourn the meeting then. We can adjourn this application. That we're
So
gonna go
we're
to
making a
do a
motion
site
to
visit.
adjourn this application and then bring it back once the tour is scheduled for the January meeting.
What date is the January meeting? Just clear.
That's gonna be, one second, it's gonna be the first Wednesday in January. That's gonna be, one second. That's gonna be January 7th.
And Mr. Chairman, just to be clear, is this tour, because I would not be participating in the tour, but is the tour going to be, would we get some communication after?
Yeah, so
the
I
tour, or
think
we'll just hear from members on the at the public meeting?
so. I think in us taking a tour without having the gentleman Mark there, just taking a tour without having some explanation of what's going on, I think it would be great to have, Sir Mark, I don't want to put you on the spot, but to have you there when we're taking the tour so that you can go in detail of what's happening so that you can connect to what's in the report. Then I think that everyone who takes a tour, we should give feedback to all of the commissioners of their findings and as a result of the tour.
And that would be done at the next public meeting, Mr. Chairman, and not prior to, correct?
It should be done it will be done at the next public meeting, but it can be done prior to, because the tour typically happens 2 to 3 weeks before the next
No, I'm
meeting.
saying that, just asking if there are feedback or comments to, with Whitman, would that be at the next public meeting?
Yes.
Because I'd like to hear from the commissioners who actually do the tour.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Miller. I would like to do it sometime between tomorrow and Friday. I am going on vacation and I would like to see if that's okay with NJPAC. If they can.
Camilla, will you be back from vacation for the first meeting in January though?
Not sure.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I'm available to tour between the 12th and the 30th.
What I'm gonna do, commissioners, I'm gonna send out an email tomorrow. We have to see the availability of the reps for NJPAC, see their availability, whether they'll be able to let the commissioners in the building. So I'm gonna send out an email tomorrow. And, everyone can say what day they're gonna be available and the time. That is the first thing we need to do.
Kevin, and
Okay.
just for the record, we're going to have to split up the tours, whether
Mhm.
it's different days or different times, so that there's not a quorum at any given time during the touring process.
Thank you. We appreciate that. So
Yeah.
that everyone has the ample opportunity to tour the building that's interested in touring the building based upon the dates that they're available.
Okay, I did, after those details are clarified, there was a motion made to table the application. I believe Commissioner Noun seconded it, and I'm ready to vote on that whenever the discussion is ready. Thank you.
I think we said we're gonna adjourn it.
Okay.
I think,
We said we're gonna
well, I
adjourn it.
think were we going to take a vote on whether it's
No.
going to get tabled for
I-
the tour, or we're just adjourning to
No,
I think it's
January?
better to
I think
adjourn
it
it
should
and
be
set
adjourned.
up the tour as opposed to taking a vote to table it.
Okay, January 7th. I'm sorry, January 7th is when we would be appearing again before the Historic Preservation Committee.
Not to be a
That's correct.
stickler, I believe by Robert's rules, once a motion is made and seconded, it requires a vote.
That is correct.
But it wasn't called.
I'm okay. Then I'll make the motion again. I make a motion to table this application.
But I think we said it's gonna be adjourned. So we can do the site visit. That is what we normally do.
A roll call is fine with us if you want to do a roll call to formalize this. It was
Let's just finish the voting because the end result is the same. So let's just finish the voting.
Motion
Yeah.
by Mr. Zhang and seconded by Ms. Nance.
No, I have a quick question. What is the difference between tabling and adjourning? Because I
Nothing.
know adjourning is moving it to the next meeting, but is tabling something different or is it the same?
It's the
Pardon
same
my
result,
ignorance.
basically. It's the same result. I guess
Thank
I'm
you.
just following the protocol when the motion is made. If we can just finish voting, then
Okay.
that's it.
All right. Thank you.
I'd be comfortable if Commissioner Zhang clarified the motion.
By my motion, it's I should have been clear earlier. It gives the applicant the opportunity to refile the same or a different application at the January 7th meeting with revisions or comments or changes to satisfy some of the commissioner's questions.
Commissioner Zhang, what revisions or comments needs to be clarified if it's only about us going to take a tour?
These would be
Please specify.
yeah. Well, to my mind, these would be considerations of what are alternatives locations for the proposed park? What is the exact cost of demolition? What is the extent of the asbestos contamination? And what are the steps that the applicant can take to fully comply with the terms of the 1993 memorandum of agreement that they signed with the state? So I think those are some of my concerns as relates to this application. And so I think tabling the application gives the applicant that opportunity to provide that kind of supporting documentation.
Madam Secretary?
Okay, Anthony, do you want to call this and then I'm going to do the roll call? No.
Yes.
But so I'm sorry,
So
David, but
I'm a little so first of all,
but that
I'm a little-
motion,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interject, but
yes.
the purpose that was too much. What we're here for is to just adjourn this until we have a site visit to satisfy and going through protocol that we're supposed to do. I'm not comfortable with voting on all the other things that you just suggested, because I think that that's going beyond what we just had a discussion about.
Yeah, so those aren't things that I suggest as part of the motion. So I made a motion to table the application, and you asked what were some of the thoughts in the back of my mind as to why. And
No, I didn't ask what your thoughts. I just asked you. You specified that there were some conditions, so I just wanted to make sure that you.
in my mind, I didn't specify those as conditions. I specified those as I think my summary to the best of my abilities of some of the other or the range of questions that the range of concerns brought up by members of the public and other commissioners on this team.
So I think because we have others waiting for others on this agenda for us to vote on, I think that yes.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask a question? Can we have a poll of how many commissioners actually intend to visit the site? I mean, I understand that the commission would like to visit the site, but I'm not sure how many commissioners would like to visit the site. I'm hearing perhaps one commissioner wants to visit the site. So I don't, the applicant was ready to proceed with the application. We felt comfortable with the case that we presented. If there are many members of the commission that would like to visit the site, understood. But if we're just adjourning this for a site visit, we just need some clarity as to what is actually going to occur between now and January 7th, I guess.
This is Commissioner Miller. Commissioner Sherman Smith, if she want to go forward, we'll go forward. We'll vote. Go ahead.
Miss Baston, we could adjourn this, and you have two commissioners that would like to visit that have said they would visit, which is Commissioner Miller and Commissioner Zhang in accordance to
Okay, I see multiple hands. Okay, we will adjourn to January 7th.
Okay,
Okay,
very
I just
good.
wanted to
Very
I
good,
wanted
very
to see
good,
how
very
many
good.
commissioners would like to
Very
visit.
good.
I mean,
Okay.
So
Commissioner Miller,
so
if you want to
I
vote
think
today,
that
we can vote. We can vote today. That's not a
we're not going to
problem.
vote, Commissioner Miller. We're not going to vote.
But I believe by Robert Rules of
We're gonna
Order, once
do.
the motion is made and seconded, it requires a.
The motion is made
I made a
to
motion.
table this.
I made
The motion has been made, Commissioner Zhang, to table this. It was seconded by Commissioner Nance. Tabling it, Basta and Commissioner
Well,
O'Toole is.
I believe once the motion is made and tabled, it requires a vote, and the vote would only take a matter of.
And we're getting ready to move
so it
forward with
doesn't
that,
slow
but
down the
you have
process
to
of the
let us move.
application.
We're going to move forward with that, Commissioner Zhang. But she asked a question. So there was a vote to table this, but to Commissioner O'Toole, tabling and adjourning comes out to be the same thing. So Commissioner Zhang made a vote to table this. The second was made by Commissioner Nance. Madam Secretary, give us a roll call.
Okay. A motion was made to table / adjourn this application till the January 7th hearing. And there's going to be a site visit. So Commissioner Zhang made a motion to table this application, seconded by Commissioner Nance. Commissioner Combs-Hollis,
Yes, for an adjournment to January 7th, 2026.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Toole,
Yes.
Commissioner Grosclaus,
Yes.
I call Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Zhang,
Yes to table.
Commissioner Nance,
Yes.
Chair Smith.
Yes.
So this application has been adjourned for the January 7th of 2026 hearing.
Thank you.
Ms. Basta, we will circle back with you on the dates and times that commissioners who would like to come and visit the site.
Thank you. We'll coordinate that through Kevlin. Thank you. We
Okay,
appreciate
thank
your
you.
time tonight. Have a good
Thank you,
night.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, next on the agenda, is everyone out?
Yes.
Next on the
Let me
agenda
see.
is applicant H25-184, 186 Halsey Street, Four Corners.
Okay, I'm gonna bring them in. Let's see, I'm gonna bring in Marcia. Chair, for the records, this attorney has two applications with us. 186 Halsey Street and 141 Market Street. So we're gonna just do both of those applications before we move on to the other
Good.
two.
And good evening, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Marcia Moore from the law firm of Post Park on behalf of the applicant, Callaway Ventures LLC. So this is an application for adaptive reuse of a two-story, four-bay property that's located at 186, 198 Halsey Street. It's in the Four Corners Historic District. We are proposing exterior modifications of this adaptive reuse that our architect, I believe Jennifer Palermo, is here to discuss. We did appear before the design committee and at that time, design review, and at that time, there were a number of comments, suggestions that were incorporating this project that we're prepared to discuss tonight. One of them is the providing wood windows and also some comments regarding the design of the proposed signage that have been incorporated in this revised package. Just briefly, as I mentioned, the property is part of the Four Corners. Just reviewing the designation, it is a contributing building. However, our application tonight is for exterior modification. We're not modifying the height of the building. And just for clarity, I just want to highlight on the application, it indicates that the property is identified as 57.01 lots 43, 45, 46, and 50. Just want to correct it on the record that it does not include lot 50. The lot is 43. They have been merged, but it does not include lot 50. Just wanted to recognize on the record. Jennifer Palermo, our architect, will be presenting the application tonight. So Ms. Palermo, if you share your screen and then walk us through this proposed exterior modification.
Okay. So as was just described by Marcia, the property is located on Halsey Street in the Four Corners Historic District. It's an existing two-story commercial building, as you can see here in the bottom right-hand corner. We are essentially proposing to restore the exterior of the facade. It's a beautiful example of glazed terracotta tiles, which are miraculously, at least from the second floor up, in pretty good condition. The first floor is going to require some restoration and replacement in kind. And so I'll just get to, do we want to talk about the use or just what we're doing?
So a little bit about the use. So the use is proposed hostel. It is a novel. We have to present our application if this is favorable to the zoning board. It is proposed hostel that will occupy the majority of the space. The building does take up an entire block, almost an entire block, but there's the majority of the space will be used for the hostel, except there's one existing commercial tenant, but that is the proposed use that we're doing. So Jennifer, I think from my experience, the board wants, the purview is the exterior of the property, not the interior.
Understood. So just as a large high view of what we're proposing for the use, the ground floor would be a reception, lounge areas, and an entryway that we'll have to modify. It will be using an existing entrance, but there is a step up, so we'll have to provide a ramp to make it handicap accessible.
I'm
Which
sorry.
will,
Ms. Palermo, this is Commissioner Miller. Can you just show us the front? Like right now, I'm seeing just the interior layout. Can you just show like a 3D of the exterior, what you're talking about, please? That will help out.
Sure, I was just talking about the interior.
Yeah,
but-
we
They don't need the
only can
interior,
go
Jen.
Okay, well, so the entrance has to change because it needs to be handicap accessible. We need to put a ramp, which is going to be on the inside because the sidewalk is very, very narrow at this location. So let me see, I can show you the rendering that we have here can you see did it change to the rendering? Or is it still the plans?
It's the rendering.
Okay, thank you. So we have all of this terracotta, this glazed terracotta in white, as was discussed at the technical meeting. Our windows will remain in the same pattern that they're in now. They will be wood. They will be fixed pane windows. The ground floor, we will be removing all of the roll top doors and taking out any extra cladding that may have been placed on top of what will likely be some decorative columns in the spacing that runs with the context of the building. We are proposing a sign here at the entry. This is where we would put an interior ramp inside the building. And I do have pictures. Let me see if I can pull them up to show you the existing. Let's see where I have them. So do I need to switch? Do you see the photographs now?
No. It did not sway. We're still looking at the rendering, so.
No problem. So here we have a series of photographs of the exterior. This is on one end of the building. This is particularly appropriate because you can still see the remnants of the original storefront framing that has subsequently been covered up by the roll top doors. So we would be maintaining this cornice line. The storefront would happen from the base up to this point. This is a transom all the way across. You can also see here the original window a pattern and sizes and locations that we will be replicating. And then you see all this beautiful glazed terracotta work that will be power washed, lightly power washed, repointed, and any missing tiles will be replicated. And I can just go through some of the photographs that we have. This is down towards the middle. This is the terracotta at the floor of the second floor, and you can see the wood framing for the windows. This is the cladding that I was speaking about that was probably put in the maybe 70s, that once we start taking apart the storefronts, we hope to uncover more of the columns in between the windows. This is more of the cornice, but it's miraculous to me that these are all still up there. And that's basically, one of the requests from the technical committee was about lighting. And our rendering that I had shown just before shows placement of lighting. It's not the fixtures that we will be using, but to give a representation of what we would be focusing our lighting on. We'll share that again. Oh, that's not the right one. Sorry. I have too many. There we go. So we're proposing to have full lighting of the columns, both at the second floor and at the ground floor, and at the intermediate columns, they would be on this column as well. And then this is again our entryway into the hostel.
And Jennifer, is that downlighting? I know at the design review, we presented a close, that's the downlighting, is that what you're referring?
These are uplighting and downlighting.
Okay.
So they will wash the whole column.
Okay.
Up and down.
And then just while we're looking at that, the rendering, you've shown the pull down the roll window, the shutters, the existing
Yes.
roll up shutters, that will be removed completely, right? That
They
is
will all be removed, correct.
Okay. And then the signage, that ground floor signage is the only signage that we're proposing as far as the entranceway, the waypoint. I know Commissioner Glausklaus had a comment regarding the original proposed signage. We're just providing the signage above that transom. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have nothing further. I just want to confirm that we're not proposing any aluminum with the windows. It is confirmation that because of it is in the historic, so it would be the wood windows, not the aluminum.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions shared that the board commissioners may have?
This is Commissioner Zhang. Just one question. Between the existing building and the proposed, the mullions or the wood bands dividing the windows, are they the same thickness before and after?
Yes, they will be.
Okay.
They'll be replicated exactly.
Commissioner Miller, I like everything.
I just don't see any greenery outside. I don't see any, everything is so
So this
not
building
green.
is special in that the sidewalk is exceptionally narrow. And exceptionally narrow. It's maybe 7 feet, maybe less. So
Okay.
between the light posts and whatever else, there's really no room for us to put anything, really.
You could put planters outside in the exterior, and they can be located outside of the entrances. I mean, that is still a possible with 7 feet.
We'd be happy to do that.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Jampel. I have a couple small questions. One in particular to this image. The road in front of it is not true to the actual location, right? This is much wider than what is
The
out
street
front.
is correct, yes.
Okay. And the sidewalk is very, very narrow there. So I do have a question about the door because I can't tell from the renderings. Is the door flush to the facade or does it bump out?
So the door will actually recess in.
Okay.
I can show you in the plan. It's easier to describe. Second, where did it go? I lost
I
it.
give tours on this street frequently, and I think actually the sidewalks are much smaller than 7 feet. And
Yeah,
so
they're very
my,
narrow.
yeah, my only concern was when I saw it, it looked like it bumped out, and I was concerned about ADA accessibility
Mhm.
for the actual sidewalk.
So, what we are proposing is to have a little bit of a vestibule. We'll sort of bump this in. And then, so the door will not swing into the right of way. These doors here are existing. And we're not proposing to change that swing or to change the door.
Wonderful. And I want to say I didn't get to participate in the design meeting, but the signage is much improved. That was something I was going to ask about. So vastly improved. Thank you.
Sure.
Any additional questions from the other commissioners?
Commissioner Miller, I just have a quick question with regard to the lighting. Do you have like a rendering how it looks at night?
No, not at the moment, but
Okay.
we have to also pick the fixtures. So we can submit them to the Historic Commission when we get that worked out.
Okay, so right now you don't know what kind of lighting you're using?
Well, there'll be LEDs, but we have to speak to our lighting consultant so that they're tastefully done and also where they're located. So with the exceptional narrowness of the sidewalk, they don't want to stick out of the building too far. So we have to do some research on what would be the best fixtures to put there.
Okay, so this is Commissioner Miller, so that's going to be part of the conditions that we can add to the motion.
Yep, sure.
This is Commissioner Caldwell Epps. I know that you're adhering to the original character of the building, which is, to me, always seemed out of character with the rest of the street there. So I just want, someone mentioned planting. I was going to mention that as a solution to it. And I understand, I do know the block and I know that the streets are very narrow. But have you given any thought to, especially since Newark has been concerned about making itself known as an arts city, to any kind of colorization or anything that you can do to just take away from the blandness of this building? Just think about it. That's all. I don't have any suggestions. I have no idea what you could do. But I remember the building when it looked pretty much like what you're proposing now. and I thought it was pretty ugly then. And I don't really see an improvement. I'm just wondering if there's something that can be done streetwise with the streetscape to bring the building out, or with the lighting, or with the top of it, the roof part of it, to just add something to it. It's a long building.
We can certainly look at that, and perhaps maybe adding some lighting at the cornice above. I mean, if you want to.
I may be the only person who has that as an issue.
Okay.
I thought I'd throw it out.
Okay.
Commissioner Miller, yeah, Commissioner Alves, I thought about that as well. It just, everything looks one color. Perhaps maybe like a brown could be thrown in there. Other commissioners could add on to it if they have any ideas.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I believe this building is in the Downtown Improvement District, and I believe that all the property owners in the downtown district pay a special assessment tax that goes into funding extra street cleanings and planters. So I believe the applicant could, because the applicant is already paying a special assessment tax like all applicants downtown, they might be able to request the downtown district to put planters in front of their building, and those would be maintained at the city's cost, because the applicant is already paying the taxes for that.
This is Commissioner O2. In reference to the planters, again, that sidewalk is very narrow. I would say at most like 24 to 30 inches. If two people are walking, they have to do a dance to get past each other. So like putting a planter there will be adding to congestion. I don't know if it can be put higher. I don't know. But putting it on the sidewalk will be problematic.
Thank you, Mr. O2. I withdraw my comment.
Yeah, this is Coombs Hollis. I actually visited the site today, and actually I wondered if we could have had the planters, because I thought that would have been a nice touch, but I don't see how. Maybe the applicant could use his best judgment and work with the downtown area to see if anything can be done, and that could be the condition that could be imposed.
We have no issues with that as far as meeting with them, and typically we know even going for the zoning board, that issue may come up as far as any greenery. So that is a good comment. So we can certainly have a meeting to see to what extent we can provide some type of planters or
Yeah, and again,
not on the
just like-
sidewalk.
yeah, just like I was saying, maybe you could do the those
Mhm.
planter boxes on the second floor or something, just not on the sidewalk. Thank you.
We could possibly recess the entry in and have an area for a planter that's actually not in the sidewalk. I mean, that
may work.
might not get any sun, but.
It's Commissioner Miller. Can you put the front again, please?
Sure.
What color is it that you're using? Is it a historical color?
Yes, so the glazed terracotta is white. In fact,
From what I saw, it looked like it's cream.
a cream white. It's dirty. Don't forget. So
Dirty white.
yes, dirty white is what we're going for. So obviously once this all gets cleaned, and our intent actually is to, once we get in here, to actually take some, see if we can get some paint scrapings off of the frames here to find out what color was actually on these windows back then, and try to adhere to that. Because really the decoration on this building is quite lovely. And once it's all cleaned up, granted, this is all up at the roof of the second floor, but even all of this decorative work here is will really pop once it's clean.
Once again, this is Commissioner O2. If there was a way that you could put planter boxes in the you see how you have like 3 sections? If you could put a planter box in that middle section so it doesn't interfere with the what what do you call it, with the band of decorations below, but just put like a planter box on each one. I think that's like almost like the best you could do.
You mean like a window box?
Yes.
Okay. Sure, we can look at
Because you
that.
can't put anything down low. If you recess the entrance so you can have planters, now you're obstructing the view. I mean, it's put window boxes or planter boxes right there in the larger windows, you know,
We
going
could
down.
also do maybe at the big columns here, we could do maybe like a hanging baskets. Because I'm not, these aren't really
Possible.
a window boxes aren't really going to work here. First of all, these aren't operable windows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you won't really be able to water them.
So if you do hanging baskets, who's going to water them? I'm not trying to be
excellent question.
facetious.
Yeah, it would have to be
Just-
something that's accessible for the maybe
Yeah.
downtown improvement district for the,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
They'll
how
be
that
mad
works.
at you if they have to use
I
a
don't know how
ladder
that
to
works.
water
They
just
are not
your
going to want to
stuff.
do that.
I don't know how that works. That was my question. How are you going to get up there?
Yeah.
This is
But I'm
Commissioner.
just throwing stuff out. Is
Yeah. So I think you show in your rendering that there's outdoor lighting poles that are, and if there are, I'm not sure if they exist on the street currently. You
Yes,
could
they do.
probably mark.
Actually, I have a shot.
So I don't think that NDD traditionally does this, but going back to Commissioner Zhang's comment about working with the downtown district, you probably could work with them to do hanging baskets from
Here you go.
Poles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had concerns about you putting the window boxes on this building
Yeah.
that you're going to take all this time to restore to its original condition. So I think, working with them, which is part of, their commitment to the downtown to, A, ensure these lights are working, and B, add the greenery there is probably your best bet. That way it keeps it off the sidewalk. You have somebody that's maintaining them and you're adding greenery to the block.
Absolutely.
Commissioner, John Paul, this is Commissioner. They've done it in other areas, so that's a great suggestion.
Okay.
this is Commissioner O2. Could you put the rendering up again, please?
Sure. Where did it go again? I lost it. Hold on.
So the light pole that I see, that's the only one on that stretch in front of the building?
I believe so.
Okay.
I can do a quick Google Street View.
I imagine there's probably some that are perhaps not right in front of the building, but also down the street and on the opposite side of the road. So perhaps there can be an effort to kind of build up the street a little bit.
Yeah, I think directly opposite from the building is like a parking lot.
It
I don't
is.
know if yeah. Maybe we could contribute some planters over there. I don't know. I'm not, Marsha, please, I'm not trying to
Yeah, we don't own
do your
it.
job.
So
Yeah, so I'm not trying to,
okay,
add
we can't
add
add
to
to someone else's property, but yes. So,
Commissioner Grosskloss, is there a restaurant inside the building?
No.
To the first floor that you showed before and
Yeah.
so I just had a question. I didn't see a kitchen and you have tables for dinner or dining.
So I don't know if you've stayed at a hostel. So they have sort of gathering spaces. People will maybe get takeout and come hang out at the sort of communal places and eat their food. But there is no restaurant.
Okay, it maybe just change it on the print that you showed us before. The first floor plan. I thought it said dinner or something like that.
Cafe dining. So it's basically there's vending machines.
Oh, okay, okay.
Actually, can you see the plan now?
Yes,
Yes, we can see
I
it.
can see it.
So these are all vending machines along here.
Could you zoom in a scotch? So much better.
Is that also means that people can bring a sandwich or something in and sit at the table and eat something?
Yep.
Okay. I was concerned that there was no place that they were cooking. And if they were cooking, they would do the right thing and so forth. Make sure. Beautiful. Nice. Hmm.
Anything else from anyone?
Oh,
This is
Go ahead.
Commissioner Miller. I think the design review commissioners did a good job, so I don't have no more questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Yes, so we were in design review, and thank you, presenters. Since we have no more comments from our commissioners, Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public that has a comment?
I'm gonna check right now. No, there are no raised hand.
Okay, so can I get a motion to move on this on H25-184?
This is Commissioner Miller. I make a motion to move for approval with the following conditions. The lighting to be presented to the commission before installation. And also applicants agree to work with Newark DPW, I'm assuming, with regard to the planting and greenery in front of the building. However,
Newark
that
Downtown
comes about.
District.
Newark Downtown District. Yes. So those, am I missing anything from the other commissioners, or this is the only two?
That's it for me.
Okay. So I move that motion.
This is Commissioner O'Toole. I second.
Motion made by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner O'Toole. Commissioner Combs Hollis,
Yes.
Commissioner Grosclaws,
Yes.
Commissioner John Paul,
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell Epps,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhang,
Yes.
Commissioner Nance,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Toole,
Yes.
Chair Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve the application with the conditions.
Thank you so much
thank you very much.
Thank you for the approval, and thank you for your comments. They were really helpful.
Is there a second application that you're representing?
Yes, I'm the next one, 141, 149 Market Street.
141, 149.
It's the last matter on the agenda. It's the number.
H25-189.
Yes, I'm gonna bring Mr. Robinson in.
Madam Secretary, there's also our architect, Brian Computore, said he was kicked out of the meeting and he can't get back in. I don't know if he's in let me just look if he's in the
Let me see.
attendees list.
I don't see him. Let me see. I don't
Trying to
see
see if I see
him.
him, I don't. Yeah, I don't see him. I know he said got kicked out and he can't get back in.
Hmm.
He's rebooting. I don't know. Well, I will start. So good evening again. My name is Marcia Moore for law firm of Post Pollock, behalf of the applicant TSB Market Street LLC. So this property, as I indicate, is identified as 141-149 Market Street. It's on the corner of Market and Hall Street and also identified as 168-180 Halsey Street and consists of 4 lots along Block 54. This is also an adaptive reuse of the property. It's an existing 6-story building that was formerly a department store. It was formerly used as Orbac, which was also originally built for Bambergers. We are seeking to adaptively reuse that property into a mixed use consisting of 99 residential units. There is an existing commercial tenants that will remain. This work does include exterior modifications, which we also appeared before design review and receive a number of comments, which the applicant has revise the plans to incorporate the design of the building. One of those comments is also the windows that originally on the front of the facade of the building, the frontage, we were proposing aluminum. That has been modified, as you'll hear tonight, to reflect the wood windows. I have 2 presenters tonight. It's going to be very limited. I'll have Dave Robinson present very limited testimony regarding a light well in the alleyway that we're presenting. But overall, our historic architect, will be discussing the exterior modification of the property. Just so you know, this project will be subject potentially for federal tax credits, so SHPO will need approval. However, as you're aware, that we will need to obtain local approval in order to present. So I don't know why my architect can't get in. We have an issue here, but let me start with Dave, if you want to share your screen and limit the testimony just to the exterior of the property. We indicate nothing on the interior as far as the proposed residential dwellings, and then I'm just going to see if I can get our architect back in.
Yeah, Marcia, if you could see if he can relog in, or he says he's been blocked. He sent me a picture. He's blocked.
Blocked.
Yeah. So he's important here. He's going to talk about the elevations.
Blocked.
Maybe he was part of the first panelist and he was removed.
I think maybe he tried to join the first one and then he was blocked, but it's Brian Compatore. I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get him back in, so.
So Marcia, maybe you can resend the link while I'm
Okay.
I'm
I will
talking
do that.
very briefly.
Thank
you. Good evening, everyone. How is everybody? My name's Dave Robinson. I'm a partner at Suad, or architects here in Newark, downtown Newark. We're happy to be part of this application. As Marcia stated, this building is located in the corner of Halsey Street and Market Street, the northeast corner. The ground floor has been occupied by retail. It's a 6-story building, and the upper 6 stories have been vacant for many years. It's actually a combination of 2 buildings. If you look at Market Street, it's left and right. The left side building was originally built for Bambergers. They expanded to the building on the right, and then they built their flagship across the street at some point. So these are just existing photos of the scope of work of the project. Brian Coppertone from CTS, he is the historic preservation architect. He's the specialist, so he'll talk about the details of the elevations. We are the architect of record for the project, and as Marcia stated, it's an adaptive reuse. 99 apartments upstairs. So just quickly, some views. This is for Market Street. Halsey Street is on the left. There's actually a public alley on the right, which is seen in this photo here, and the retail stores on the bottom. A view looking south on Halsey Street, showing the windows that are facing Halsey Street and the existing window openings facing north on the adjacent property. And then the biggest concept for this, for our historic tax credits, in addition to restoring the facades that the public can see, because it's a department store, the floor plates are very big. So we are incorporating two light wells to provide natural ventilation and lighting in the building. So this is a picture of the roof looking west. The Diane Burgers building that we know is straight ahead at the top of the picture. And then this is going to show two areas where we are going to cut holes in the building for those light wells. And these light wells cannot be seen from the street. They are in the public alley. And it's, a setback from Market Street. And you can see here that just as a typical floor plan, just showing where the light wells are and a configuration of apartments. Ground floor, lobby is going to be put on Halsey Street. We're going to keep the existing retail entrances on Market Street. So the new entrance will be on Halsey for the residential units. And Brian hopefully will talk about that. And it's the typical floor plan showing, again, as the building goes up. And that's the extent of my presentation, but Brian needs to be on here to talk about the elevations. Is Brian on?
Ms. Moore, were you able to make contact with him?
I just resent him. I'm just gonna give him a call to see if he's able to maybe use another email address. So that's what I'm just trying
Because
to.
I'm not sure why he's blocked.
He might try joining from a different device. Sometimes when a panelist is removed, they're blocked from that specific device for the duration of the rest of the
Yeah,
meeting.
but I don't know how he's blocked. So I'm a little confused with that.
He was on earlier.
May I ask a question while we're waiting?
Yes, Commissioner, you can.
Is there parking connected with this at
There is
all? I
no-
didn't see it.
No,
Okay,
there was no parking.
okay.
The existing building covers 100% the lot. The error message that Brian
But there's parking behind that building, right?
Yes,
On the
yes.
corner, but
Yes.
that's not connected with you at all?
No.
Okay.
Now, this project is part of the Living Downtown redevelopment plan, and adaptive reuses, don't require parking when there's no additions to the building. This will be heard at the planning board, and it's in compliance with the downtown living redevelopment plan.
Marsha, what's the name of the
So,
architect?
It's Brian Compitor. He said he's gonna try to call in, and then Dave, if we can perhaps share the screen for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He says same message. I don't know if,
Tell him to try putting in the ID number. That's what I had to do. I had trouble getting in as well for some reason. But I just manually put in the
Yeah,
the ID.
It's odd that he's being blocked from as far as the phone number as well. So that's weird. Let me just
I'm
try to, yeah, that's
confused
odd.
'cause he shouldn't be. Because I didn't take anyone out after you finish your first presentation.
He's dialing.
Marcia, can you see Brian's drawings on the
Yes, if
screen?
you could zoom in a little bit, just want to make sure that's the most recent ones that I submitted to.
Yeah, I got that
Kelvin.
from
Okay.
today's email.
Yes.
Oh, wow, memories.
Yeah, so Brian will talk about it when he gets on, but as a historic preservationist applying to SHPO, you have to select a historic period. So with ownership and other consultants that are historic preservationists, they've decided to go with the Orbox timeframe.
Should be the 1930s timeframe.
I had one question for Commissioner for Mr. Robinson, which is on the rear wall of the building. There's a vague outline of the word Bambergers.
Yes.
How does the restoration of the building affect that that signage?
You'll see in Brian's presentation, we're keeping that, so I'm going to bring it back. And let me think if I can get it here. Yeah, you can see it on the corner of the building right there. That's part of the scope of work is to bring that back.
Okay.
Even though it's Orbox, but we're gonna still bring it back as
That's
Bamberg.
great. I saw that Paramount Assets restored the signage on the side of the building down the street. And they did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. And just to cover some empty space, the ownership has ties to the building for many years. So they, they're still here and they want to bring the building back. They're a wonderful client to work with.
So, Kelvin, I do see a 716 number in the attendee section.
Let me see.
Appreciate everyone's
Okay.
patience.
Why is it saying rename or remove with that? Oh. Okay, 1 second, allowed to talk. Okay. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Good evening, Brian. If you just state your name, I'll catch you. I don't know if you heard any of the testimony, but Davis presented his portion of the testimony. We do have the screen of the plans that we submitted, the revisions that incorporated some of the comments from design review. So just for the record, just state your name and then I guess Dave will be handling the screen sharing and just let him know what sheet you'll be referring to.
So right now I'm on P100.
Certainly. Our first sheet. Okay, great. Brian Compertor. I'm associate principal and licensed architect in New Jersey. Associate principal with CTS Group Architects. So yeah, sheet P100 is showing the building in the 1930s, which is what we've determined is the period of significance. There's actually a long period of significance, but the 1930s is what we've worked through with our historic consultant. And at this point, it was the Orbox store. And a couple Dave, I don't know if you can zoom in here for me. A couple of significant features here that I want to point out is the windows along the second floor of Market Street. You've got the whole floor-to-ceiling window openings with fixed lower windows and operable transoms. And then the Orbox sign is a continuous sign across most, 3/4 of the storefront. And just keep this in mind as we scroll through and you see our design coming up. I'd also like to point out the 2 bay windows in the center of each of the two buildings. And also keep that in mind for upcoming elevations. Dave, if you want to go to the next one, P101. So the first shot on the right, upper right, is the existing Market Street elevation. Dave, if you want to zoom in on that for them, you can see that the storefront, the second floor windows have been completely covered with signage. And we actually completed exploratory probes on these areas and on the first floor storefronts. And unfortunately, there's no historic material left. We were able to open up a couple different areas, and it was all removed when these new aluminum storefronts and signage bands went in. Regarding aluminum storefronts, the existing storefronts or historic storefronts were removed and replaced with these aluminum white and gray aluminum storefronts. I just want to point out, if Dave, if you're zoomed in on this front elevation, the condition of the building, it's been abandoned and vacant. At least the upper floors have for quite some time. But I just want to point out that the building itself, the facades at least, are actually in fairly good condition. You've still got the beautiful terracotta work up at the cornices and the terracotta bands and headstones around the windows are all pretty well intact. They need minor repairs and repointing, but the majority of the decoration on this building is in fairly good condition. The photo to the left, you can see that the decorative Market Street elevation turns the corner down Halsey and extends for about 1/3 of the length of the building. You can see that on both these elevation pictures, you can see that most of the windows are boarded up. Some of them are still there. Many of them are missing glass panes or in severe states of disrepair, which is why they were boarded up and removed. And those are a 1/1 light pattern on the main elevations. You can see a fire escape in the distance on the Halsey Street. Existing fire escape that will be retained and restored. And then I know Dave touched on the alleyway. So this photograph is just showing the existing condition of the alleyway and the existing view of the alleyway from Market Street. So you can see that the light wells that we're planning to cut into the building are very difficult to see, are essentially invisible from the street. And once you're in the alleyway, it's a nondescript elevation. It's punched window openings. There's no decoration. It's just standard brick. And then on the rear elevation, Dave, if you want to zoom in on that closely, you can see all the windows, with the exception of the one in the upper right, are infilled with either concrete block with cement plaster, And then you've also got plywood infills as well. The large openings on the right where this building connected to the one that's now been demolished, where the parking deck is, where you can see large openings where the two buildings connected, and when that's since been infilled with CMU block, and the steel headers that existed still exist currently. Dave, you can go to the next one, E102. This is just a zoomed in view of the Market Street elevation. You can see the signage very clearly here that covers the second floor windows, and you can see the aluminum storefronts for the first floor retail. And on the far left, you can see where we opened up in the first floor column, where we opened up one of the probes to investigate if any existing historic material was remaining. Down below, you can see where that probe was taken better. That column was tiled with porcelain tile, and that extends around the corner onto Halsey Street. And you can see the existing roll gate, which exists on the exterior of the building at Halsey Street. So moving on down the Halsey Street, you have the Coco Boutique storefront, which is going to be the storefront entrance for the new residential function of the building. The canopy will be removed and the storefront will be redone, and we'll touch on that momentarily. But these are the existing conditions, and then you've got access to Gap and Party Girl stores for their loading and unloading of materials and goods from this elevation as well, and that's the roll down gates over the single doors. And then the blue painted plywood is a former entrance for one of the shops that hasn't been used in decades. So next photo, Dave, P104. These are photographs from the adjacent building of our building and the alleyway specifically, where we'll be cutting the light wells. Again, just reinforcing, standard red brick, fairly nondescript, non-significant elevations.
Brian, your next sheet was A201. You were on A201. So what sheet are you on?
I'm on
okay.
P104.
Okay, there it is. Sorry, that was my fault.
No worries. Yeah, so punched openings. Many of these windows, as you can see, are missing, have been infilled, and here these are metal windows on this elevation.
I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Miller. Are you keeping this design on the side of the building with the windows?
Sorry, which design?
Go back to the one you just showed. That you see the design that the windows have,
Oh, they're 2/2.
and also how the brick.
The arch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Are
all
you
be.
keeping that, or are you proposing to change it?
No, we're where those openings exist, we're keeping it.
Okay.
But bear with me 1 second. When we get to the elevations on this, I'll discuss that, because some of the sills of the existing windows are up almost 6-7 feet from the floor, so we will be dropping the sills. But I'll show you that in the elevation of this page.
Okay.
So the last item I wanted to point it out on P104 is just, so these photos were taken in March. Just look at the amount of sunlight that gets into this areaway, even though it's very close to the adjacent building. So this is one of the main reasons we want to open up light wells within our floor plate to allow that ample sunlight to penetrate deep within our building and illuminate the future residences that surround those light wells. All right, Dave. A201.
It goes to 204. You're at 201. Where is 201? There it is. Okay.
All right. So this is the main elevation, the Market Street elevation. You can see that we're providing new wood windows here, and we're replicating on the upper floors the 1/1 pattern that exists now, where the windows do exist, and that existed in those historic photos of the 1930s. And then you can see on the second floor, we are replicating the second floor wood storefronts and windows that were there. The large fixed lower windows, and then upper transom windows that will be operable to allow natural ventilation. Now, the signage band that currently covers the second floor will be modified to accommodate the Pretty Girl, Gap, and Future tenant signage. But that signage band obviously is being significantly reduced and contained to between the top of the existing first floor storefronts and the second floor windowsills. The existing first floor storefronts will remain and painted a darker color, either a dark gray or a dark bronze, to more seamlessly blend with the rest of the building. All right, Dave, you want to go to now 204. You there?
Yeah, 204 is here. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So again, where that decorative Market Street elevation turns the corner on the southern part of the Halsey Street elevation, we're treating it the same as the Market Street. The second floor storefronts will mimic the Market Street, and then the 1/1 window patterns on floors 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be the same as well. The existing storefront on this elevation will remain. Again, it'll be painted to blend a little better, as will the existing roll gate. We are adding a row of windows to accommodate light and ventilation required in the.
This is the new row. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just drawing a yellow line next to the new windows.
Perfect. And that's to accommodate the new residential units on the inside. You can also see the balcony. The fire escape that's being restored and retained on this elevation. And down on the first floor, you can see the new aluminum entry for the residents, and that will have a metal and glass canopy over it. On this elevation, these windows will all be wood with the fenestration pattern shown, which matches the historic photographs. Some of the boarded up entrances down on the first floor will be infilled with brick masonry, and we find it a nice detail to recess that about an inch or two from the brick masonry facade, just to show that there was an opening there at one point. And then on the far left of this drawing, that elevation is recessed significantly from the front of the building. It's actually set behind a couple rows of the parking deck, and those are existing openings that are that will be reopened and new windows put in. And where, if you remember that those large CMU openings you saw in the rear elevation, they exist on this elevation as well in that back portion. And those that CMU will be removed and infilled with brick masonry as well, and new window openings punched in to accommodate those residential units.
Could I just ask a question? If the upper windows are wood, is there any reason you have to go to aluminum on the first floor? Wouldn't it be more exciting to see it in all wood?
You're talking about at the residential entry?
Well, right in the front, right down there. Yeah, right about there.
Sorry, Dave, I can't see what we're.
Yeah,
what
so we're
they're
looking
pointing
at the entrance to the residence portion. Because this is new construction, we just felt that it's a material that will last longer. You know, there is metal in the facade already. It'll complement the historic nature of the wood material that's there. You know, it's just we felt it was more appropriate to just change the material here. It's just durability with the awning and you know, the pattern that we're trying to do with the spacing of the window framing.
Yeah, the adjacency to the sidewalk, you know, aluminum will hold up much better to the salt and snow and water. Wood storefronts don't last nearly as long, and with aluminum, you are able to replicate far more shapes and decorative trim components than you used to be to mimic a wood looking storefront.
Yeah, and also wood, it needs a tremendous amount of maintenance. A lot of our projects on Halsey Street, it's evidence that, you know, that the deterioration of the product is rapidly increasing, more so than if it was metal. So we just feel that this is longer lasting and it's still appropriate with the conditions of the building.
This is Commissioner Miller. If you go towards the right, where you have the new part that was added, can you go to where it was previously? I just noticed that, nope, keep going. There you go, keep going. Okay, that part right there at the end. I don't know if it's the, because I'm zooming in on it, but the windows look different than the other. Are you intending to keep the windows to follow what the aesthetic of the building next to it is?
Brian, I could speak quickly, but maybe you need to follow up. You know, that we're trying to repeat the pattern that was there historically. So this is what we feel
Correct.
from the photographs. This is where this was the pattern of these windows because they wrapped around Market Street. They do change when you go to the left because it was off of the main shopping street. So we're not trying to change it purposely. We're trying to keep it. We're trying to preserve what it was.
Yeah, and Dave, if you want to scroll back to the first photo, the historic photos, you can see that the you know, the southern third, or the southern third of the building is more decorative to match Market Street, and that the northern 2/3, if you will, is more utilitarian, as it was a side street. And yes, the window patterns we're pulling directly from the historic photographs. Is that sufficient, or can we go to the rear elevation?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, move up here. Okay, we're on the rear.
All right.
The north
So
and
the
south.
rear elevation, yeah. So the rear elevation, as you saw from the photos, is immediately adjacent to a parking structure, an Edison parking structure. We're opening up the infilled windows where necessary, and the other ones we're infilling with that brick infill detail that I had mentioned before, where we'll remove the CMU, we'll remove the cement plaster, and we'll recess the brick infill about an inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches from the brick face, the brick facade, and it just gives a real nice shadow line, and it's a memory or like a whisper of the window that the window opening that used to be there. Now here are some of the window sills that need to be dropped in order to accommodate the residential unit. So the heads are all staying the same. With those arched masonry openings, the heads will remain. The sills will need to be lowered, and we'll provide a cast stone sill if the existing stone can't be salvaged and reused. You can see the large CMU openings that over towards the right, which will be infilled, and new window openings punched in there. Now, on this back elevation, I do want to point out that we are asking for aluminum windows at this elevation, as it is the rear elevation, and one of the reasons for that being fire and safety. If another building is ever constructed on this parking site, they'll have to respect our windows and give us room. But as you saw in the alleyway, those windows were metal for a reason. They're not combustible, whereas a wood window would be. So just something to keep in mind here on this elevation.
And I just want to add to that, these windows will be fully complied to building code, with protected openings, sprinklers, and such. But there's a pretty good concern about the combustibility of the wood. And this, Brian, this elevation is not detailed as much as the street-facing facades.
Correct. Yeah, this is more like the alleyway. It was a covered elevation. That there's no decorative or ornamental masonry on this elevation at all. And I just want to reiterate what I said about aluminum window profiles. We're doing multiple projects where we can match the wood brick molding, the wood window trims, and certainly the wood window fenestration with aluminum windows. And you from 10 feet away, you can't tell the difference between you can't tell whether it's aluminum or wood. So we're hoping to incorporate that here on the rear. And then Dave, if you want to move to the alleyway elevation, again, this elevation, as you saw from the Market Street photographs, is nearly invisible. From Market Street, you're not going to be able to see these light wells where they open up. We are adding a couple new window bays. Again, most of these windows are infilled. We're removing the 2 fire escapes that do exist on this elevation, as they're not required for fire safety. We'll have the 2 means of egress required without the fire escapes, and the fire escapes in this area would be difficult to maintain, and it would just be, since they're not visible anyway, it's just less of a maintenance issue if they're removed. You can also see on the left, those windows over on the left are being, again, the heads of the windows remain with that arched opening, and the sills get dropped to an elevation 3 feet above the floor. And that's
This is a
that's
Yeah.
go
This is-
ahead.
This Commissioner Zhang, I had two questions. When you go to the rear facade, could you describe the preservation strategy for the Bamberger signage?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, so the Bamberger sign, Dave, if you scroll up to the rear elevation image.
Yeah, I have
you
to
can
zoom
see
out.
that-
You can see it clearly when I zoom out, but you can see it here. It's in the drawing where
Yeah.
we're trying to restore it.
Yeah, so a lot of it exists now, and we're trying to recreate what was removed and restore what's faded.
Excellent. And one other question, which is inside the building, are there any historical artifacts that are still surviving?
We do have a historic consultant that's developing the application for SHPO, and they've identified minor things like floor tiles near the elevator. So we're reviewing those, and there's some historic dials of which floor the elevator was on. So we're gonna try to salvage those and incorporate them into the design as much as we can. But in terms of decorative columns, wood flooring, it was very utilitarian, department store, open space, drop ceilings.
That's all good to hear because I know that Bamberger's was such an important part of Newark history and the origins of our city's museum. Thank you.
Any additional questions, commissioners? If no additional questions, please take your presentation down. Madam Secretary, anybody from the public that has any comments?
Let me see. No, there are no raised hand.
Okay, that being said, can I get a motion to move on this project here?
So moved, Commissioner Epps.
Commissioner O'Toole, second.
Motion made by Commissioner F, seconded by Commissioner O'Toole. Commissioner Gosclaws,
Yes.
Commissioner John Paul,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhang,
Yes.
Commissioner Nance,
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell Epps,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Toole,
Yes.
Chair Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried to approve the application.
I want to thank everyone for your comments and appreciate the time and the courtesy of moving this application. And this is a great project. We're excited for it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, commissioners. Really
Thank
appreciate your
you.
time.
Thank you, everyone.
This is Commissioner Miller, Marsha Moore. Yes. Don't forget to send us pictures. Yes. of the project. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Before we get to the next two commissioners, I'm out of the country and I have to drop off. And Jackie had to drop off, and I spoke with Commissioner Miller, and she will handle the next two. But at our next meeting, first of all, welcome Commissioner Nance and John Paul. At our next meeting, I'd like to have an executive session because I wasn't quite happy with some of the way that this meeting went. And I would like to have a conversation about that with all of us in an executive session, but I can't stay on to do it now because it's 10:15 my time. So, and I am at a conference. But that being said, thank you, Commissioner Miller, for, pulling in the rear for us and listening to the last two that's on here. I think it's with Paramount. Thank you. And congratulations, commissioners, for joining the commission.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Anthony, talk to you later.
So the next one, Kevlin.
You want me to call it? Because
Yes, please.
okay. The next application is H25-185, and the address is 29-31 Academy Street. I am going to bring in Mr. Dunn. And let me see who else is there. Okay, Mr.
Good evening. Rich Dunn from Paramount Assets. I'm here to present application H25-185. It's for 29-31 Halsey Street. I'm sorry, 29-31 Academy Street, which also is 142 Halsey Street. This building is a 4-story historic structure located in the Four Corners Historic District of the city of Newark. It is on the fringes of the Arts and Education District as well. This building was previously in front of the commission back in 2021, where the commission deemed the building to be able to be demolished based upon the structural defects and issues within the structure. Based upon our reevaluation and our position that we want to preserve this very important historic structure in the city of Newark, we felt that the investment to preserve this building would be well worth it, since it does sit on the fringes of the Arts and Education District. This building was the first fire department headquarters in the city of Newark. There's a lot of history that involves this building. It's in the National Historic Registry as a contributing building, and it was built in 1860. The building is approximately 165 years old, and it's one of a kind in the city. So Paramount Assets felt that it would be in everyone's best interest to preserve this building in the fashion that would be necessary. The building has gone through numerous enumerations throughout the years. Obviously, being in existence for 165 years, there's been many alterations to the building. And I do have photos at 3 different times in its history, so the board can see the changes of the building and its significance to the city. Our goal is to preserve the building, adaptive reuse the building into a mixed-use structure, where we would be constructing 9 residential units on floors 2, 3, and 4. The retail on the first floor will remain, and we would love to renovate the exterior of the building so that it preserves the history of the structure. There is a lot of work that's involved, and I'm going to bring and share my screen. But I do have my colleague, my design professional with me, John Bush, who is an employee of Paramount. He is our architectural specialist, and he will add flavor and insight to this presentation. If I may, I will share my screen. Okay, Commission, do you see the photo of 29-31?
Yep, you'll see it.
Yes.
Great. Terrific. As you can see, the building is a very ornate building. It has tremendous cornice detail work on the structure. As you can see, the front of the building, which is facing the Academy Street side, has gone through a lot of modifications over the years. The second picture, which I'm going to show, is the side of the structure, which runs along Halsey Street. And the side on Halsey has really not gone through many changes. That is basically the original structure. The cornice is original. The brickwork is the original. And as you can see, at some point, vinyl siding was installed on the Halsey Street side. Obviously, that's going to be removed, and bricks will be utilized to try to match facade the best as possible so that it blends in so we can bring back the original structure. Just a little bit of information. Paramount Assets, we have performed 12 historic renovations on adaptive reuse projects in the city of Newark, mostly in the Four Corners. The building that you see here is just evidence of our commitment. This was the Coleman Building, which is our headquarters at 45 Academy Street, which is directly across the street from the old fire headquarters. And that's the original building in 1926. Next photo, which I'm going to show you, is the building from 2018 when we acquired the building. As you can see, the building was butchered, the cornice was removed, the facade wasn't taken care of, and it became dilapidated, and it was not a jewel anymore of the Four Corners. It is in the historic registry as the Coleman Business Building. We do have the beautiful mural, which we reestablished on the rear of the building, which I do not have a photo of, but that's part of our testament and our abilities to preserve historic restoration in the city. The picture that you see now is the way it looks today. As you can see, we spent a tremendous amount of effort and money to restore the cornice. So I just wanted to bring one of our projects to light to prove to the new members of the board that we are sincere and we are committed to historic restoration here in the city, because we believe that the historic buildings are the fabric of the city, and by bringing them down and raising them is not in everyone's best interest. So again, here's the building at 2931 Academy Street. As you can see, the front of the building needs a tremendous amount of work. Now, on the right bottom, you'll see that we have wood panels. That's an area that is of concern. There's structural defects within that area, and the structural defects go up to floors 2 and 3. That was why we decided that it was in our best interest to demolish the building. However, we decided to retain the possibilities of reconstructing, which we will be doing. This picture is the original firehouse from 1870. As you can see, the building is basically, for the most part, today intact. The front has gone through many, many enumerations and changes. As you can see, the carriage stalls are no longer there. Floors 2 and 3 on the Academy side has been altered and actually blown out. There is no brick there currently. It's just wood joists and 2x4s, and we're going to try to resecure and to stabilize that general area. Here's another photo from 1890, which shows the fire tower on the building. Again, this building is a landmark. It is a very important piece of the fire department's history in Newark, and we will be memorializing the building with plaques on the side showing the 3 phases of the building through its life. And here is a photo from 1966, 67, showing the building basically the way it is today. So the next photo I'm going to bring up is the current situation or rendering or facade.
Richard,
yes.
this is Commissioner Miller. Can you bring in the architect so he can talk about this, please, at this point?
I certainly can.
Thank you.
Sure. So as you can tell, the cornice on the top will be restored and repointed and cleaned up. And then when you get to when you're looking at the Academy side of the building, the 3rd floor is quite nice. It has ornate stucco columns, and the 2nd floor, which has the same windows, is no longer like that. It is covered with siding. That siding runs along Halsey as well. So we're going to take the siding out, and we're going to restore the 2nd floor to look exactly as the 3rd floor does, and it'll be infilled with brick that matches. And so the whole fenestration of the front of the building will be restored from the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd floor. The storefront that you see on the first floor will pretty much remain as is. You know, we're just going to clean it up and paint it, and keep the use the way it is. We will replace the windows. The windows will not be changed in size or anything. They'll just be replaced with new metal windows to match existing. And that's it. And we're putting lights in. We have some photos of the lights that we used at Academy Street, just to keep consistency of the block. And you know, they're quite nice fixtures. They actually light forward, back, and bottom and top. And we're gonna, what do you call it, where all the column fenestrations are, that's where we'll be adding the lights. So there'll be plenty of lights along the sidewalk and along the peripheral of the building.
This is Commissioner Zhang. I have two questions. The first question is, I remember in the previous demolition application, I think you identified the expanded windows on the second and third floors as a cause of structural deficiencies. So my first question is, are there any efforts required to remediate those expanded windows with a new water line or any kind of reinforcement in those locations?
The reinforcement will be on the bottom, on the first floor to the right on Academy Street. You'll see there's a window and a door there. That's kind of covered right now with plywood there. So that's where the area of reinforcement needs to be. And then of course that'll continue up just with new framing. There's some floor joists that need to be replaced as well. But the windows themselves, the placement of the windows, the size of the windows, will all remain the way it is now, because there's a consistency with the building, the way it is, and we'll retain that.
And what about for that Halsey Street side? Those windows have also been expanded.
Those windows are what? Excuse me?
I've also seen to have been expanded from the original. Or is any reinforcement needed around those windows?
No, those windows are okay. That part of the building is fine. There's a portion in the middle of the building. If you look at where there's a door and a window like directly in the middle next to where it says store. That has a slight variation. That's an easier fix. But again, it's more internal, and so it doesn't affect the windows or the facade of the building.
Thank you.
The only corner that affects the facade, which we're going to restore back to match the rest of the building, is just the right-hand corner on Academy Street.
Thank you. And the last question I had is the parts where you're adding new brickwork, are those bricks tile bricks or are they full depth real bricks?
No, they would be full depth real brick, same color to match.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, John, for your assistance with the presentation. Moving forward, so those are the lights that the architect has stated that we're going to use and stay consistent with 29-31 Academy. These are the same fixtures, or relatively the same fixtures that we used on our building next door. Here is a photo of the metal aluminum windows that we would like to use. With all our other projects, we utilized the same aluminum metal type windows, and they worked out fantastically. And yes, they can be molded and made to match. And our goal is to utilize it so that everything matches. Currently, 29-31 has all metal windows currently. Again, from years of being replaced, things have been mismatched, but we're going to be one consistent color, and it's going to be the same style and type. With that said, would there be any more questions from the board regarding this project? If there's not, I'll stop sharing my screen.
At this time, is any questions from the members of the public?
Let me see. Let me just double check. No, there are no raised hands.
Okay. Who would like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve this application at 21-31 Academy Street, application number H25-185.
I'll second that motion, Gross Clause.
Motion made by Commissioner Zhang, seconded by Commissioner Grosclause. Commissioner John Paul,
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell Epps, Commissioner Epps.
Sorry. Yes.
Commissioner O'Toole,
Yes.
Commissioner Nance. Can you unmute? I think Commissioner Nance.
Looks like she's
It's
frozen.
frozen, yeah. Okay, so I just
Come back to her.
Commissioner Grosclause,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhang,
Yes.
Acting Chair Miller.
Yes.
Motion to approve the application.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make sure to send us pictures, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the next application, which is the adjoining building, which is going to be application H25-186. Again, my name is Richard Dunn. I'm the Senior Vice President of Paramount Assets. I'm here to present the adaptive reuse of building 27 Academy Street, which is the Krimke building. Unfortunately, I do not have an original picture of this building, which was built in 1910. However, the owner of the building does have a remarkable history here in the city of Newark, and this building too will be preserved as is. If at all possible, I would like to share my screen once again, which I'll do.
There we go.
So this is the building at 27 Academy. As you can see, it is a very ornate building with beautiful detail work and colors. We'll now
Sure,
bring
before you start, can you tell us the scope of your application, please?
Absolutely. So the scope of this application is adaptive reuse of the building. We are going to be installing 9 residential units. The building was a residential unit building in its heyday on floors 3 and 4. Floors 1 was retail and the second floor was office. So we are going to be going in front of the planning board to get an adaptive reuse to convert it into 9 residential units. With that, our goal is to preserve the facade of the building, which, as you can see, is very ornate, and it definitely fits into the Arts and Education District due to its beautiful colors and its style. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to John Bush, who can give you more details on our plans to restore.
So, so basically, in this case, we plan on
This is
keeping.
Commissioner Miller. John, is there any possibility you could turn off the camera, please? We need this for the record.
Turn on the camera?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So basically, something happened.
Hold on, moving back to.
Okay. So basically the design of this building has not changed. Basically, we're going to keep everything pretty much the same the way it is. Retail on the first floor, the second floor windows. Each floor has a different set of windows. There's beautiful bay windows on the third floor, which really lend to nice apartments inside. All of that will remain. In fact, we plan on keeping the same exact color of the building. So in general, the building will be repointed. So any of the brickwork or cornice work that needs to be restored, washed, will be done. And then the building will just be repainted the same colors that you see on the drawing and on the photos. The retail storefront remains the same. There are 3 doors. The center door goes up to the apartments. The other doors go into each of the retail spaces. There are 2 spaces. And then the windows get restored and replaced. And those windows they are metal. Those are metal frames. However, these windows will match. We will do a custom color to match what you see on the building the way it is right now. And the Krimpke building, which is carved, will remain on that little sign that you see on the 3rd floor will remain.
Now, this building also, we received demolition approval. However, we are restoring it. Floors 3 and 4, commissioners, what was burned out, and there's extensive structural issues on floors 3 and 4. And all that will be renovated and restored and repaired so that the building can be preserved in its entirety. John, do you want to explain the lighting of the building as well?
Yeah, so the lighting, we plan on using the same lighting that we're using on the building next door that we just presented, as well as the lighting that was on 45 Academy. So each of the column fenestrations on top of the doors, you'll see that'll be where the lighting is, because that's really the only place to put it, and it actually kind of blends in nicely. So there'll be 3 lights installed over the doors, basically, where the sign band. And that's on the drawing.
Also, Commission, we are trying to convince our tenants in both buildings, 29, 31, and 27, to remove the security gates. We want to do the work that's necessary, and we're going to insist that the security gates do not go back up. We are going to do our best because we believe that the security gates, the gates from the beauty of the buildings, number one, and plus it gives a negative connotation or a negative view of the neighborhood. So our goal is to get rid of those nasty looking security gates, provided our tenants do agree.
And the 45.
I agree with you.
So 45 Academy had the gates, and we took those down, and we have no issues at all. So there should be really no issue taking the gates down.
Exactly. With that said, that concludes our presentation to the Historic Preservation Commission, and we thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Rich. Commissioners, any questions?
This is Commissioner Zhang. I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say that it's a really positive development to see this go from demolition to saving. And I appreciate seeing a local developer who lives across the street do more than the minimum to really make up the neighborhood. There's no requirement to have removed the signage, the drop-down gates, or to repoint the windows, or to have researched the history of the site with the old photos the way you did. But the fact that you did it, I think, produces hopefully a little bit of a better community for us all. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Much appreciated, and it's our goal to preserve the fabric of Newark, and preserving these great structures from the past preserves the identity of the great city.
Any other commissioners?
Mr. Dunn, can you stop sharing the screen, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have any members of the public that have any questions?
No, there's no raised hand. So we can make a
Commissioners,
vote.
who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 27 Academy Street, application number H25-186, without conditions.
Can you state your name, please, for the
This
records?
is Commissioner Zhang.
Commissioner Nance, I second that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Zhang, seconded by Commissioner Nance. Commissioner Grosskloss,
Yes.
Commissioner Jampol,
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell Epps. Commissioner Epps, you have to
I'm
unmute.
sorry, yes.
Commissioner O'Toole,
Yes.
I call Mr. Grosskloss. Commissioner Zhang,
Yes.
Commissioner Nance,
Yes.
Acting Chair Miller.
Yes.
Motion to approve the application.
Very good. I just wanted to say, I want to piggyback of was Commissioner Zhang mentioned earlier with regard to it feels good that they want, although they got approval a couple of years ago, that they preserving the building. We need more buildings to stay, and we need more buildings to be preserved. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Kevin, is that the end of all the applications?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are done.
Yes, we are.
So, we still got
Hold on
people
one
on.
second, the card. Let me just remove